you hear me holler. Making moves another day, another dollar. On the grind, I'm living good. What you expect? Just another one hit and with it. You can say that. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, people? Hey, my name is Lawrence's Cashing in Dreams, and you're now tuned in to the Cashing in Dreams podcast. Listen, we had a wonderful first season where we have over 24 episodes here on the IG TV station, and we are now rolling into season 2 of the Cashing in Dreams podcast. Today's guest, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, when I tell you, today's guest, Mr. Mario Armstrong, 2-time Emmy Award TV host, winning gentleman and his whole crew. Listen, this interview is going to be amazing. He put it out there, and we're going to go ahead and back that up, that the first 15 people that jump in here, we're going to go ahead and give out a prize. So I am looking at the names that's coming in, and we are going to put you guys in a raffle for you guys to have the opportunity of winning. Listen, OMG. Today is going, I see you. Today is going to be amazing. I do appreciate everybody for joining. Boy, I'm super excited, you guys. Hey, what's going on, brother?
Man, what's going on? Good to be here with you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am super excited to have you on the Cashing in Dreams podcast. You have no idea how long I've been following you. And I want to say it was maybe a few weeks ago, you mentioned something on one of your episodes here, and you said a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I reached out to you and said, hey, would you jump on the Cashing in Dreams podcast? And you was like, send me a DM. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I did what you said to do, and here we are live tonight on the Cashing in Dreams podcast. We have right now a few people in here. They're screaming out your name. So welcome, Mr. Mario Armstrong, to the Cashing in Dreams podcast. Like he would say, burr, 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 burr. All right. Listen, guys. Emmy Award winning, virtual mentor, motivator, entrepreneur, family man, host of the Never Settle Show, a show to help you level up mentally, spiritually, and professionally. Advocate for the underdog. Tonight's guest, Mario Armstrong. Welcome to the Cashing in Dreams show, Mario. How you doing, sir?
Yo, it's first and foremost, man, thank you so much for having me on the show. Everybody that's here, the first 15 of y'all that came in, you're going to have to check and tell me who were the first 15 that checked in after this is over. DM me their names, because I'm going to give them a little special prize. It was something I was going to do called 15 and 15. So I'm going to give everybody 15 minutes one-on-one to talk about their challenges with me, see if I can help them in some way or get them connected to somebody in some way. So the first 15 people that got in here, man, y'all jumped in quick. It pays to be early, but you're right, man. You know, Lawrence was watching a live a couple of weeks ago, and then he DM'd me or asked me during the chat. And he said, can I get you on my show? Can I get you on my podcast? Can we do this interview? And the number one reason, Lawrence, is why I said yes. There's several reasons, but the number one reason why I say yes is because I know what it's like to be told no, number one. So I know what the feeling is like to be told no. So I overextend myself at the sake of my own health sometimes, but that's why I also meditate, I exercise, I eat clean, I do all the stuff that I need to do to constantly replenish me, because I don't like seeing people struggle too much. It's okay for you to struggle a little bit, because some of y'all need that struggle, or else you won't make a move. But those of you that have been making moves like yourself, when I see you out there putting in the work, and then you ask, I'm going to lean towards a yes way more than I'm going to lean towards a no. It's not will I do it, it's when will it happen type of mentality. And so what I really wanted to also remind people, just with this beginning of this, how we even got here moment, the importance is, if you don't ask, nothing happens. Just forget it. And I know, here's the thing. Some people can't just push through that ask. They're too nervous. They're too shy. Maybe they're introverted. Maybe they're actually afraid, because selfishly, they know why they want to make the ask, because I really want a better job, or I want this guest on my show. I know, like, when you ask somebody for something, the problem is so many people put the value on what you're going to get from somebody else versus the value that you're bringing to that person.
Wow.
And so when you flip the value paradigm where you are thinking in a desperate mode, like, yo, the only reason why I really want to ask this person to help me is because it's going to do something for me personally. When you have that hanging over your head, you get intimidated to want to ask. But if you flip the model and you instead say, wait, hold on. Why do I want Mario on this show? Or why do I want to ask this person for this job opportunity? Or why do I want to ask this person to write the foreword on my book? If you think like that, what you're really saying is, Lawrence is really saying, yo, I want Mario on my podcast, on my show, because of how he can help my listeners, how he can help my community. It's not about you, Lawrence. You're saying this thing is bigger than me, and that's why I need you here. And if I need somebody to write a foreword for my book, if I go to Damon John or somebody, I'd be like, yo, I need you to do this for me. And they're like, well, what is it you need me to do? And I'm like, it's bigger than me. What I need you to do is write this foreword for the book because it's going to impact the readers. Like, make your personal thing bigger than you, and then it makes it easier for you to make the ask. But so many people get caught up in feeling like their ask is asking of such a big thing from somebody else that they hesitate to make it. And when you don't make the ask, we don't know how to help. And when we don't know how to help, you sit in neutral. So don't sit in neutral is all I'm saying. Like, make it bigger than you. Like, get out of your own ego. Like, everybody's trying to think like, yo, it's about me. No, it's not. If you actually get that job, is it about you or is it about your family? Is it about your kids' tuition? Is it about making a better legacy for yourself? Like, they know what they're going to get from you if you do the job right.
Right.
Like, they know what they're going to get. Right? You don't want the job, but they know what they're going to get for you if you do the job right. But you're so focused on, I need that job, that you're so hesitant to make the ask because you don't want to come off wrong. And all I'm saying is, people, Lawrence made the ask. I'm here. So let's go. I'm ready. I'm tapped in. I'm locked in. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it, man. I definitely love it. I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. Guys, I hope that you guys are as hyped and as pumped and as excited as I am. I've been following, like I said, Mario for some time now. And the acts, like he said, it's not just for me, but it's for you guys. I know exactly what we're going to get out of tonight's conversation because I listened to this brother. And I just hope that anybody that's in here, if it's just one out of the 20 people that's in here, get something out of tonight's message, then the job is done. The job is done if we could just get one. But I know for a fact, everybody that's in here, especially those first 15 people, for that 15 to 15 is going to get something out of this. And I'm also going to match his 15 to 15 with a free t-shirt that we're going to go ahead and give out. The Create Your Own Foundation Forever Live on the Plantation t-shirt. We're going to put those names in a raffle, and we'll go ahead and get a t-shirt or a few t-shirts out to a few people. So let's jump into it.
That's big. That's big.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Listen, even back then, you can tell I was down for whatever. I'm about to put a picture up, and this picture is a throwback of you. And here we go. Here we go. You ready?
Gina Love said, laugh out loud. She just clocked out.
Here,
oh, wow.
So even back then, you can tell I was down for whatever. Take me through your front door growing up. What did you see, smell, and hear, Mr. Armstrong, in your house?
Beautiful question, man. So it was an apartment door. It was metal. It was brown in color. Had a big old doorbell on it, and when you open that door, you'd walk into this very little hallway that would basically land you into the living room. And the living room was like hardwood floor. The kitchen was off to the left, really small kitchen. And then you had the living room, and then if you turn to the right, you'd see another hallway that would take you down to the bedrooms. My brother and I shared a bedroom. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was an apartment complex on the bottom floor. The coolest thing about living in that apartment on the bottom was that we could open up the back door and be right out on the back lawn. And fortunately, like, the grass where we were from the apartment complex was like right to the playground. So it was like immediate access as a kid to just get out and run away from your parents and be able to just like run outside and get away. But I mean, I smell greens, I smell vegetables. Mom was always hitting us with the greens, and always had the veggies on lock. And at moments probably stale carpet, and at moments entirely too much toast being told to us that it was French toast. And I didn't know until I got older what French toast really was. And then I was like, yo, my parents been lying to me all this time. They put sprinkled cinnamon on bread, toasted it, sprinkled cinnamon and put some butter and sprinkled the joint and then put syrup on it and cut it up. Like that was French toast for real. Like, yo, my parents, we were so like trying to make it work that I didn't even know that wasn't French toast.
Yo,
that was growing up.
I know exactly what you're talking about, though. I've had a couple of those toasts with the syrup on it as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But when I was doing my research, Mr. Armstrong, and I seen this picture, there was also another picture. I'm not going to put that one up. Where you mentioned I had great parents. It was you and your brother, and you was like, you know, I had great parents growing up. So I just want to ask this question. The motivation that was in the household, the inspiration that came from inside or behind that metal door. Speak a little bit on that.
Man, I mean, to really be like hit you. Oh, look at that. Kanika says, sounds like my ground level apartment growing up in PG. I see you, Kanika. I'm a Baltimore boy, so that was B-more for me. You know, the biggest moment really behind that door, man, was really right in front of that door. Like the biggest moment that I recall is seeing a pink slip, a pink piece of paper, a Post-it, like slip. It was an eviction notice. An eviction notice was on that apartment door. And seeing that and understanding at like the age of 10, 12, like what was going on, that was pretty heavy to understand. Like, yo, I've been watching my dad pursue his dreams of creating a record label and creating a music promotions company. Like he was basically creating a production company, and Armstrong and Donaldson Productions was the name of it. And I was watching him. I would go to studio sessions as a kid on the weekends and hang out and go see, like he was like developing these R&B artists. I get on the drums and just play around. So I got to see a lot of what, before I even really knew what entrepreneurship was, just watching his hustle and watching how he would be a man of his word and keep his word. My mom is a school teacher. She was always educating kids in high school and in middle school. So she was the educator in the household and was really the support, the foundation of the support system in the household. So, you know, when I think about like, what did I learn and what did I see, man, the biggest thing I saw was like resilience. Like when I saw my dad really go through to pursue his dreams, then have a woman that had her own thing going, but would also be supportive of his dreams. And then to see him out there trying to make his dreams work and know he's got 2 kids to feed, plus he's got this wife, and to know like the thing is really, it's a struggle to make it happen. And there's an eviction notice on the apartment door. And then like a month later, he'll be the same dude that'll be like, come with me. We're going to go for a Sunday drive. We're going to go look at homes that I'm going to purchase in a few years. And you're like, what are you talking about, fam? Like, we might not even be here in a few years. How are you even able to think that, you know, but seeing that kind of like almost delusional optimism, but it wasn't. Right. Kind of really kind of set a tone of, oh, the system doesn't control me. The president doesn't control me. Government doesn't control me. Low income doesn't control me. Food stamps don't, being bankrupt, like none of that stuff controls me. Right. I am in tune with myself, with my God, and with my own ability to think through solutions, and I can solve problems. And if you can teach a kid that they can solve problems, that kid thinks they can do anything.
Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. You work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You make history 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. is one of your quotes. When did you have a wake-up call of realization that there are 2 sides of the coin?
Early. That's why I was a side hustler for most of my life until I made the transition to go full-time entrepreneur. And so many people would go full-time entrepreneur, or some people don't even like the word entrepreneur because it makes them feel like they got to go build something and it's got to have 50 employees. We're talking about the type of life you want to live. Do you want to have a lifestyle that you control more of your time, your hours, who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with, why you want to work with them? Having more control gives you more freedom. And that's really what we're saying when we're talking about this entrepreneurial lifestyle. So I saw early on that there were people that would go to work for a living, and then there were people that were living to create new work. And I was like, yo, I want to be a part of the people that are living to create like new work. Like that just seemed, and not to be, look, I did jobs. I worked in careers. I did the traditional thing. So this isn't a knock at those things. It's just, who do you really want to be? Like, be honest with yourself. Some of y'all need to work for somebody. Some of y'all need to, because you are a great number 2. You're a killer number 3. You're like, you know, Scottie Pippen, and you're fire. Some of y'all need to really be number 2 and 3, and that's fine. That's fine to align with somebody else's vision. Some of y'all don't want to do that, and you want to create your own vision and develop your own thing. And if you do, that's where you have to look beyond what the 9 to 5 does for you. What are you doing from 5 to 9? And what I learned from that 5 to 9, 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., it wasn't just, everybody thought that I was saying, oh, you mean grind. You mean like from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., you just go grind. And so here's the formula, because that ain't it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to burn out. And then you're going to do both things. Really, you're going to suffer on both ends. Day job going to suffer, and your side hustle's going to suffer. So what the 5 to 9 was how do you use hours after your work hustle to actually get your mind right, hustle on your thing, relax, meditate, exercise. Like, how are you building yourself to be stronger so that when you do have the time that you dedicate to the side hustle, you're giving it incredible quality? Because what I found out with the 9 to 5 was, yo, people are here for 8 hours, but they only really putting in like 5 hours of work at max.
Right.
At max. So like this workday thing is nonsense. Like I can do what I need to do in 4 or 5 hours, and then I can leave for the day if I could. So what I realized was there's a lot of wasted time. So what I realized was from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., you could maximize small bits of your time to give you maximum potential. But it's not the quantity, it was the quality inside of those 5 to 9 that made the difference. But if you couldn't even make the mindset shift that, yo, I'm gonna dedicate myself to my craft, to my hustle, to my side gig, to my dreams from 5 to 9, then just be a great number 2 or number 3.
Wow.
And so I was kind of challenging myself, like, am I really about this? Or, you know, can I really do this? And so it was a challenge to myself that held me accountable. And then I realized, oh, wait, there's some formulas here that I'm learning that I can actually teach people.
Love it. Doing my research and just hearing your answer now, I can kind of gauge where this came from. But so about 14 years ago, you convinced your wife, Nicole, to leave her day job to assist you on this dream that you had. What was it about your wife that you wanted to bring her in to build the process from the beginning? What was it about Nicole that you knew that, hey, babe, if you leave your day job, we can build this empire? Right.
Man. Great question. Couple things come to mind. Number one, everybody needs somebody to support their vision. So if you have people in your family, your peers, people in your text message group, people in your chat group, like you got to have some kind of community, whether it's online, virtually, or physically, where you have some people that I consider stakeholders in your dream. And the best way to get stakeholders to support your dream, because what happens is dream killers will show up in your own house if they don't understand your dream.
Woo! What did you say?
Like dream killers will show up in your own house if they don't understand your dream.
Oh, wow. Wow. Talk that talk.
Some of y'all are holding your phones right now looking at this, and the dream killer's right beside you. Sorry. Wow. Don't look at him real quick. Don't look at him. don't point him out. Don't point them out.
I love it.
So if you got a dream killer beside you, say, hey, tune into this. Check this out. Here's the thing. To convert, you can't convert every dream killer. You can't do this. But what you can do is you can lay out the plan to them. If they don't really understand your plan, it's hard for them to see what you see. Just because your vision is clear doesn't give the right for someone else to shut your vision down. So you have to take it upon yourself to help make sure that your vision is clear to the people that are important to your life. Underscore, bold, and underline the word important to your life. People that aren't important, stop trying to convince them, family. You're trying to convince people because you want some validation to be accepted. I get it. We all are human. We go through it. I do it too. But who are the important people in your life? Because those are the ones that you would really like to have some support from. So what I want you to do is what I did with CEO Nicole. I was like, look, I can only take, I think I have something here, but I need you and your skill set because I don't do what you do and you don't do what I do. And so when I approached her with it, she was like, no, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. Like, I'm gonna leave. She was getting $100,000 a year and she was doing really well. And I didn't blame her. So I had to work on her to kind of leave. And I had gotten laid off from my job. So I was already halfway in the side hustle and on the way out of the day job. So so this was like perfect for me. Oh, I'm getting laid off. Oh, okay, cool. I get to put on the accelerator now, shift into fifth gear now. Right. But I didn't foresee a couple of things that happened to our economy. I didn't foresee how long it was going to actually take for us to build this thing. You can't look into a crystal ball. So I had asked her to come and run this thing. And eventually I convinced her to come and run this. Eventually I did. And that was partly because she could see the vision that I was trying to communicate, but then she could add herself and her thoughts and her ideas and her vision into the vision. So now you have a joint vision, not just a singular vision where someone's trying to help you with your singular vision. It is now a joint vision where both of you are responsible to help each other make it happen.
Wow. You have someone in here saying heavy words. You are speaking directly to me. So this is
oh yeah, Yasu, I see that. Hey, Daisy B from B More, I see that.
Tiffany, hey, listen, guys, write these down. When you hear this conversation, I really want you guys to leave from here and not just say you're talking to me. I really want you to take something from this. So if it's just one thing that you write down, write it down. Because when you write something down, you see all those things behind him. Those things are there for a reason. It's not just there.
You better believe it.
We'll get to that, but write it down. So you, Nicole, and the Mario Armstrong media team starts this company, and immediately you guys blow up overnight. Is that the truth?
Of course, man, because that's how it works for everybody trying to get that hustle on. They come up with an idea. They say they got it. Oh, they talk to their family and friends. Their family and friends are like, "Ooh, that sounds like a good idea." And then you step out on faith and you go out there, and then you get crickets. Woo! You get straight up crickets.
Talk
and
about
then,
it. Go ahead, talk to me.
No, once you get the crickets, that's where the real test starts to come in. The real test is like, wait a minute. You start second guessing yourself. You start wondering what's going on? What happened here? What's wrong? And then you might get a little inkling of a little bit of a light here or a little bit of a light there. And the short story to our long story with this process was we basically ended up having a really big opportunity with a tech company at the time. And they were going to spend like $276,000 to $286,000 with us. And that was going to launch the company. And at that time, we needed that money to launch the company. And we had done some work with them, like a little bit of pro bono work with them so they could get a taste of what it would be like. And so everything was going well, man. The contracts were getting signed. We formed the LLC. We went and hired the attorney, got the paperwork done, like did all the things you were supposed to do. By the way, when I had her when she left and I had rolled out, we had a year's worth of savings. So we didn't just jump out and make crazy decisions. I want people to understand, like, even when you plan strategically and even when you take sound financial advice, everything can still get pulled up from under you and you just be flipped upside down. And basically that's what happened to us. We had a really good deal going, and on the way to AOL was doing these signing parties that anything over $250,000, they would have you come out to their headquarters and you would sign the contract on the spot at the signing party. So I don't know why dude didn't tell us earlier. I think he just was scared to tell us because we had built up such a good relationship that now he couldn't make the call to tell us like this deal isn't happening, because he knew days before. But now we in the car on our way to the signing, and that's when we find out, like, you don't need to come.
Wow.
Because basically the contract, like a new CEO came on board about a week or two ago and put a freeze on all contracts.
Wow.
And so, you know me, I went straight to Be More status. I'm a brother from Be More. I was like, hold on, fam. You can backdate that contract. You know, you can backdate that, right? Like, when did he come on board? What was the date? Like, make that 2 or 3, like whatever you got to do. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to work with, make that 5 or 6. Like, come on, man. Do something. Like, come on.
I love it. Listen,
he was playing by the book. He wasn't going for it. So I can laugh at it now, but boy, let me tell you something, man. When I had to pull over on the side of the road and look at her in the passenger seat, and she look at me and be like, "What's wrong?" And for me to have to be like, "Look, David just called. This isn't happening." Like, she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, we in the car already. We on I-95. Like, we ain't just leave the house. We halfway gone from home already." Like, that was the quietest, most jaw-dropping ride home, with just like quiet tears just coming down. Like, oh, damn, you know. And then we were like, okay, you know, you go through your emotion, right? You don't hide the emotion. You go through the emotion. And then after you go ahead. Talk about that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's important to feel. You know, we still to this day, you know, tell people, man up, push through, toughen up, get over it, get through it. And that type of reinforcement really forces us, especially as people of color, forces us to even dig deeper into a shell, to not be revealing, because that can present itself as weakness. But ultimately, vulnerability is actually strength. But we've been conditioned that vulnerability is weakness, so we don't share it. Therefore, we got to have so much bravado. Therefore, we got to have our chest out. Therefore, we got to always look super, super fly, or we got to have something that's out of our price range so that we can make it look like we're doing more than where we at. Like, it's a lot of conditioning socially that has happened to us as a people. That is why we respond in the way that we respond. So right now, we got a lot of deprogramming to do in order to get to a really better human potential for ourselves. And so that kind of toxic mindset and that kind of toxic systemic situation that has been put on us has forced us to even not be so sharing in our personal relationships, because it's too vulnerable, and that shows up as weakness to us. And if we understand that vulnerability is the new currency, like, being vulnerable will get you more opportunities. Being vulnerable will get you more understanding. Being vulnerable will get you more people that will support you. Being vulnerable is the new currency. And if you can do that, then you find that everything actually gets better when you decide to open up. You know, I just mentored a young man who only gets to talk to me for 15 minutes. So you know what that is. He only gets to talk to me for 15 minutes.
Right.
And so when he gets his free time, he's in jail. So when he gets his free time, he only gets 15 minutes to talk to me. I take that 15 minutes. Yo, I don't care who's on the other line. I don't care if Capital One is like, yo, Mario, we got $1 million for that deal you want. Sorry, fam, I got to take this call. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be back in 15 minutes, you know?
Right.
So it's for him to talk to me about being vulnerable and dealing with that level of emotion, just let me know, like, man, we're getting somewhere. Like, our people are real. The mental health issue, we're getting somewhere. And I think as long as, especially our men, if our men can stop trying to be so bravado and just be more revealing. It's okay that you've been hurt. It's okay that you've been knocked down. Look, I'll be truthful. There was a moment when we were flat broke, and even though I am about being vulnerable, I didn't want Nicole, when we were flat broke. Now you got to understand why I chose to do this. We were flat broke, didn't see any silver lining. We were now in credit card debt, because the recession hit, the deals weren't happening, the AOL thing didn't pop off. So now we're running out of money. The mother-in-law is paying for my groceries. I'm going to the Coinstar machine. A lot of people know this story. So I'm basically revisiting the same thing I saw my dad dealing with when he was dealing with that eviction notice, right?
Right.
And I was like, yo, I can't let her see me cry right now. Like, damn. I mean, like, it still trembles me. It's crazy. I could talk about this story every damn time, and it still trembles me.
Wow.
I got out the house. I was like, hey, I'm gonna step out real quick. So I step out. I go into the Starbucks parking lot around the corner, and I just cried. I just got in the car and cried. Now, did she know that I was struggling? Yeah, because I would be honest with her and tell her I'm struggling. But did I need her in that moment to see me fully break down? No. But did I break down? Yes. Do I admit to breaking down? Yes. You got a lot of dudes out there that won't admit to the breakdown that they did in private, and therefore it still stays inside. But if you can talk to your inside and release what you did in private during your breakdown, you'll realize that so many other people had the same issue. And so I have no problem talking about it because I hope that it helps to heal and it helps to get other people to be more open. But that was probably the hardest thing, man. And that's why, you know, those tears coming down those eyes and that quiet ride on the way back and sitting in that emotion was important because we both realized, like, it just got real. We have a 5-year-old son at home. Like, my mom is watching our 5-year-old son while we going out to do this.
Right.
So, and I got a wife who's not like, she comes from the Virgin Islands. She's like Caribbean based. She's more like, you know, not that she's a coaster. That's not her. She is an ambitious woman, but she likes her consistency, getting a check to come in routinely, having health benefits routinely, especially now that you're a mommy.
Right.
And you got this dude wearing these glasses and these sneakers talking about, don't worry about it. We got this. We gonna push through. We gonna make it happen. What? with what? With what, bro? Like,
I love it.
So it was a realization of that, man. It was a realization of that, Lawrence.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned a few things in regards to the bottom falling out, bank accounts in the rear, Coinstars. For those who don't know what the Coinstar machine is, it's a machine where you have any sort of a bucket, a bag of pennies and coins and everything.
Yep.
You dump all your little change in there, and you thinking this gonna give you this big number. It might shoot out $5. It might shoot out. You can use it for whatever you want to use it for, whether it's a grocery store or whatever. But I can relate with you when I heard that. How as a man of color, the self-doubt in that moment, because for those who don't know, there are people who walk by that machine every day, right? And don't even realize that that machine is there until they are at that machine. Right? Until they are at that machine. So nobody
knows what it's like to file for unemployment until you file for unemployment.
You got me. So, and when standing at that machine, there's a sort of self-doubt there, right? There's a sort of like, this is it. Because after this bucket of coins, I don't have another bucket of coins at the house. So this is it. How did you get over, or did you overcome self-doubt, or was there any self-doubt in that moment when you felt that you were at your lowest point?
Beautiful question, man. And the thing about it is they never put these daggone cash machines in a spot that's like off in the corner in the cut where you don't have to worry about people seeing you. So not only are you dealing with yourself going to the machine, now you got people that are passing you that don't even know what the machine's about, seeing you dump in a bunch of change. Like, oh, that's what that machine's about? Oh, you need some money type thing. You know, like it can be a real humbling or traumatizing depending on the type of person you are and how you react to things. And so, you know, the self-doubt was at its all-time high. That's why, you know, Mari Boutique had asked this question, and it kind of goes along with you. It says, why do you think it was hard for you to break down in front of your partner? And I wanted to bring that up. It wasn't that I had not broken down in front of her before. I did. I didn't break down to this degree in front of her before because I needed to have a talk with me. I needed to get inside of my own head, and I needed those tears to come down because what was happening was the self-doubt was running rampant. Because here's what you start saying to yourself. Because let me take you to the car. I'm in the car. It's parked. Windows halfway down. It's summertime. And I'm literally got tears, right? Can't even afford to go grab a cup of coffee. So I'm just sitting in the lot. But here's what's going on in the head. I can't believe you told your wife to leave her 6-figure job to go and pursue this dream. That's not going to happen. I can't believe you decided now was a good time and you have a 5-year-old son to raise. I can't believe, you saw your dad go through some of this same stuff. Are you going to repeat the same thing, or are you going to come out like how? I can't believe you think you have the audacity with no college degree to be able to make this dream happen. I can't believe that you think without the fact that you don't have the resources or the people and the contacts and the network that you think you can pull something off. Like, who are you to think that you can have an ambitious dream and an audacious goal and get it done? I'm showing you right now, it's hard as hell and it's not going to be easy. So who are you? Like, that's what I was really dealing with. So I couldn't do that in front of her because I needed to do that with me. Because I'm talking to me at that point. I'm saying, who the hell are you, man? What are you going to do about this? And then I can start the healing process for me, which can then make me be stronger for the unit. You can't do nothing for the unit if you're not taking care of yourself. And so she knows all about this. So it wasn't like I was afraid to tell her. It wasn't like she doesn't know the story. She knows the story. She just couldn't know in that particular moment. But that doesn't mean she didn't see me cry before. She saw me cry. She knew we were fighting. I mean, dog, we almost lost our marriage over this, man, because everything was coming down. The debt, the raising the kid, the idea it's not working, the fact that the relationship is now starting to suffer. And when you're in business with your spouse, you have to have an understanding of separation between your business and your personal life, or it all gets cloudy. And if you aren't strong individuals, you start carrying stuff over from your business day into your relationship, or from your relationship into the business. And so that's where a lot of people fall down. So that's a whole other set of discussion and strategies and tips on how we, from the boardroom to the bedroom, and how we kind of like help people understand how to navigate that. But the self-doubt, to your point, is always there, fam. I haven't gotten away from self-doubt. It still chases me. Self-doubt, we can't beat ourselves up for doing what is natural to the human condition. What is natural to the human condition is that we are human beings first. We're not robots. We're not algorithms. We can't just turn things off. We have emotions. We feel things. We go through things. We process things. And so as a human and in a human condition, when you feel even slightly like, oh, this might not work out, or what was I thinking about myself, or wow, this is really tougher than I thought. Like, when you start thinking any of those thoughts, it's not because you're weak. And we get this confusion, like we're weak because we think that way. No. You're weak if you think that way and you are aware that you think that way, and you decide not to do anything about it. Now we have a weakness.
I love it.
So, because what I'm really saying is there are people that talk negative to themselves and they don't know that that's what they're doing. Therefore, they're constantly in a negative spiral. And then they always have somebody else to blame. But if you look at the common denominator, every time there's a problem, who's the person that's always there? That person. But they don't see that yet. So they're still in their head, like they still haven't gotten to a level of awareness. But when you get to a level of awareness, like, oh, I am thinking bad about me. That is a major breakthrough that I need people on this call, on this show, to understand that just that alone lets you know that you are in tune with something that's not good for you. And now it's on you to do something with it. That's where the weakness is. Do you want to face it? The hardest thing for a human being to do is look themselves in the mirror and recognize their weakness and be like, yep, that's a weakness and I'm going to face it. One of the hardest things for people to do.
It's funny that you it's not funny, it's serious that you bring it up, because as men, we tend to have that, because we have this persona that it's more that we want. Whatever we're in right now, it's always more.
You're right.
Always more that we want. And I look at it like this. Like, for an example, this conversation, this interview, this podcast, whatever you want to call it, right? Here it is. I'm talking to a 2-time Emmy Award winning TV host, Mario Armstrong. And there we go.
I gotta flex it, man. Anytime, because I'm telling you, man, it's worth it. It's worth the hard work, y'all. It's worth the hard work.
I hear you. And you know, here it is. This is the 25th, maybe the 26th episode. When I get off this line with you, I'm so pumped up right now. But then something might come across my mind, like, oh, you thought that was something? You thought that was something, right? And then here it is. And I look at it like this. God is not going to build you up to break you down, right? He's not going to build you up to break you down. So that breaking down sound that you hear in your head, you guys have to rebuke those voices in the name of Jesus immediately. Immediately. You have to rebuke, because it's not of God. It's not of God, right? God is not going to go. You're talking to an Emmy Award winner today, and then tomorrow, boom. What? No. What's next, Law? What's next, Mario? What's next, Tiffany? What's next? What is it? 124.
Yeah, on the Hudson. Yeah. That's my boy.
What's next? So, I really appreciate the advice and the gems that you're dropping right now.
I mean, bro, it's on the wall. I mean, I even have this. It's backwards. You can't see it, but I have it written. What this reads is self-doubt, the inner critic. And then I have a 4-step way of how I break self-doubt for me. So number 1, I deal with the triggers. What triggers me? Oh, well, one of the triggers is if I see somebody else on the gram blowing up and I'm wondering why I'm still working so hard, but I see somebody else looking like they're doing so good. Well, wait a minute, Mario. Why are you comparing yourself? That could be, why are you even comparing yourself to somebody else? Like, you know that's not even a good position to be in. You know that's going to put you into a negative mindset. So it's like, wait, okay, so understanding your triggers, like, no, you need to be supporting somebody else's wins. The pie isn't small. You don't live in a crab. You're not a crab in a barrel. Like, you know that we ain't fighting for scraps. You know the pie is big. So why are you even, because we have something called social comparison theory. Like, it's an actual science-based thing that we as human beings who are social, we compare. Whether we want to or not, we do it innately. Now, the way we compare is we either compare looking up to somebody, oh, I want to be like Michael Jordan, I want to be that good. Or we compare down. Oh, I'm glad I'm not as poor as them. So either way, you kind of are doing it. But the question becomes, do you know you're doing it? And and what's really worse, obviously, if you're being inspired by somebody through upward comparison, that's one thing. But if you're looking down on people to make you feel good, whoa, you in some negative space. Don't be around me, fam. I don't want that energy around me, because it's like, your karma, I ain't trying to. Right. So I go through, what are the triggers? And then I go, what am I grateful for? And that goes to your point. God wouldn't put me here. Wait, what am I great? I'm alive. I can think. I can create. I have a son. I have a wife that loves me. You know, my mom and dad are still alive. Like, what am I grateful for? You start rewiring really, really quick. And then I go into affirmations. What do I believe about myself? And I got affirmations in that I carry with me. I got affirmations written in my prayer book that I actually read. You know, I'm getting sponsors to commit to 30 episodes of the show. I am creating a passive income product in 2020. I am attracting abundance into my life. Like, I go into my affirmations. Okay, Mario, but none of that's working. All right, now you got to break the routine. If none of that works, get up out the chair you're in, get up out that living room you're in, get away from that TV, get away from that computer, go ride a bike, go take a walk, go do yoga, go exercise, go drink some water. Like, get out of the space that you're in, because the energy that's in that space is messing you up, and you got to break that energy. And the only way to do that is to go somewhere else. I don't care if you watch your favorite, I say this a lot because a lot of people can do this and it works. Go watch your favorite comedian for 10 minutes. Just a comedian for 5-10 minutes. Laugh at something. And then if that doesn't work, then I do, I do this a little bit earlier too. I do a reflection of a previous winning experience, like actually reflecting on a time where I thought I was going to lose and I ended up winning before. I use that as validation to myself that I won previously, even though I thought I was going to lose. And that can remind me how strong I am. But if none of that works, then my ultimate and my true fans and my true followers and my true community knows this. If none of that works, then I literally will take the clothes off that I'm wearing and I will go back into the bathroom, take another shower and completely re-shower and then completely get dressed with different gear on and just kind of completely and tell myself my day just started. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My day has just started. I restart. Like if it's really bad, that's my ultimate reboot.
Wow, I love that, and I would use it. My wife just told me today. She said, "Didn't you take a shower this morning? And here it is, you 40 minutes before your show, and you about to take another shower. This is a whole nother situation right now." So I
that's it. You got it. And truth be told, I got on at 6:03. I got on at 6:03 because I did the same thing, fam. So we are wired, son. I did the same thing.
Now you mentioned that you go back and you look at some of the small wins and you reflect off of those small wins, right? What does the address 606 28th Street mean to you?
Oh, wow. 606 West 28th Street is New York City, Manhattan, New York City. And it was the address where everything that we had been working on for 8 years finally came together in that address. And that address was to a tech company who I called because we could not afford to shoot our show that we had been working on for 2 years. We've been working on the idea of creating the Never Settle Show, a show that was going to empower people to pursue their best potential. And not only just from me telling you about our wins and our losses, but also me bringing on great people from the likes of, from Richard Branson to Damon John, to people in the film business like Lena Waithe and other, those types of people to share with you advice and tips to help you move your thing forward. And so when we were trying to figure out how to get it shot, we realized that we couldn't afford the cost for the set and for the production because it was $300,000. So I ended up, and this is where, if you're an entrepreneur, you've got to get creative, people. Don't let roadblocks stop you until you've tried everything. So we were trying everything, and then it hit me. Let me call some of these tech companies that have these big spacious lobbies, and we can put chairs and we can set up our own set in their lobby. And we're going to shoot this show in the evening. So if I can convince a company to let us use their lobby, in exchange for that, here's the barter. In exchange for that, I'll promote your product in my show. So if you can let me use your lobby at no cost, I'll put your product into the show and I'll give it a mention, blah, blah, blah. After about 3 calls, we found a place that took us in, and that was 606 West 28th Street. Canary was the name of the company. Took us in, and it was excuse my French on this, but it's the proper term. It was like, because it was like 30 of us trying to figure this whole thing out for the first time. And they always say that your first thing is never pretty. And this was a complete shit show. Excuse my language, but it was in a good way. Right. In a good way. We all did not have a clue as to what we were really doing. And then we would hire a few people who did know what they were doing, but these were people that were used to being in real studios with real resources. And we like, yeah, your control room is that closet. Can you make that into your control room? Like, these people are producing Wendy Williams' show, and they coming on to like work with our show. And the funny thing about the irony of it all is, because we were so scrappy, because we were so honest in the scrappiness, and because we were so clear with our intent and our mission and our purpose, people wanted to work with us. They didn't care that they were working for Wendy Williams and all those other shows, and that was great. But they when they were at their lunch breaks, they were talking about this little engine that could, like that. When someone would be like, "What are you working on right now?" They wouldn't talk about their 9-to-5s. This is what they would tell me. They would tell me, like, I keep telling them about your little show. I keep telling about how we like trying to build this little thing and how we're going to try to like make something happen out of nothing. And it's just ironic to me that now, if you see the show the way the show is now, it's really highly produced. It looks beautiful. It's in a beautiful studio. But the first Emmy, we haven't won an Emmy off of the new looking studio. We won an Emmy off the very first set, which looked like crap to me.
Wow.
So that taught me that y'all need to stop playing with y'all side hustle and that you need to constantly take action and stop looking for perfection, because perfection does not exist. And the more you continue to think it's got to be better before I can put it out there, the more you are delaying the actual gift. You're delaying the service. You're delaying your impact. And the more you delay it, other powers, the universe, your God, will start to say, oh, this isn't serious for you. So you really don't want to do this right now. So then let me put up some more obstacles. Let me reroute your path so that maybe you need to go and learn another lesson. So let me reroute your path to go in, and you may not know that's what you get ready to go do until you find out 5 years later, like, oh, that's why I had to go that way, because I had to learn that daggone lesson. So what I'm saying is, people, if your first product looks perfect to you, I'm going to tell you right now, you waited too long to launch it.
Wow. I have this thing where quality kills dreams.
Ooh, that's a good one, bro.
Quality.
Hold on, let that simmer. No, that's on the oven. Let that simmering. That's simmering. That's on the oven right now.
And that's just what it is. Because the longer you wait, right? Like I thought I was the best rapper alive at one point. And I felt that the guys who were out writing on CDs, that was trash.
Right.
But what they were doing was they were recording, putting it on a CD, and boom, in the street.
Right.
I had to have the work on the CD. I had to have the CD cover. I had to have
the artwork.
And it took so long for that one project to come into fruition, when all I had to do was write on that CD and just put it out.
Yeah, man.
So it's crazy. Quality kills dream. Nice, love it. Listen,
it's the truth, man.
It definitely is. Inspire the human spirit, teach lessons that matter, and uncover your perspectives. Speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's our mission statement. So, you have to have a vision statement and you need to have a mission statement. So our vision statement is something that should be very grandiose and pretty long. This is a little master class for those of you that don't listen. But a vision statement is something big out of you, how you're going to accomplish it. So the mission statement is that we inspire, hold on, give me a second, to motivate people around the world to never settle. So that's the ultimate vision, to motivate people around the world to never settle. Your vision is not specific. Your mission is specific. That's the tactical. Your vision is the big thing. So I can motivate people to never settle in so many ways. I can motivate them through a podcast. I can motivate them by being on your live. I can motivate them by writing a book. I can motivate them just by picking up the phone and calling them. I can motivate them so many different ways. I can create a TV show. I can do this. I can figure out ways to motivate people to never settle. But the tactical is where it gets very specific. And that is inspire the human spirit. So how do I motivate you in a way that inspires you? Because I don't want to just talk at you. I want you to take action. So in order to take action, you got to feel it. Inspiring is intrinsic. So I'm going for your emotion. I'm going for your spirit. I'm going for your heart. So inspire the human spirit. That's number one. Number two, in our mission statement, is to teach lessons that matter. It's important that whenever I'm talking, that I'm doing something that can actually help you grow, something that matters. Even if I'm talking about something that seems trivial, I want to still try to find a way that it can actually matter to you. And then the last piece would be to uncover new perspectives. And the uncovering of new perspectives means it's my job to really work hard to find new angles to old problems, to find new systems to old issues, to find new ways of thinking and new models and new formulas that can help you break through like they've helped us break through. And so all of that really to me that's why I say I'm the advocate for the underdog, because I know what it's like to be an underdog. And so since you know what it's like to get knocked down and get back up, and then you start getting some wins after getting knocked down, you start to realize like, oh, this is your role right now. Like my job is to let people know that whatever it is that you think you're supposed to be doing, you got to do it, even if all the odds are against you. Like that's actually more of the reason why you need to do it, because you're going to bring something new to it that's never been done before. And so I just, you know, it's funny you say, I love that you said, quality kills dreams. You know, I have a different one that kills dreams. It goes, ego kills dreams more than competitors ever will. So
Woo.
for me, and so it's funny, right? Because like quality kills dreams. I love that one. And then you got a whole different perspective with like ego kills dreams. Because to me, if you can't even get out of your own head, son, if you can't get out of your own head, just work for yourself. Because nobody's gonna want to work with you.
Listen, you are dropping bombs.
You too, fam. You too, family. Look, your questions are on point. Y'all seeing how he's been doing these questions? He gonna ask a brother, what was that apartment smelling like, feeling like, looking like? Like, these are insightful questions, people. I love it, man. This is a gift that you have, and you need to continue to do this, and you need to continue to work and push because you come at it from a different perspective, and I appreciate that.
I thank you. I definitely thank you. Wow. So we just came from what 606 28th Street meant to you, and
Yep.
how you won your first the Emmy from that location.
My man, I am Papa's in here. Sorry, man. I just had to shout out my man. It's good to see family is in here. That's cool.
Look, Mr. Realtor says them questions are different indeed. You got some people in here. Everybody is in here. Let's see. Straight fire. Listen, guys, if you guys have questions, drop your questions in the question mark box below. And believe me, I'm gonna ask him as many questions as I can. We're gonna try to hold on to him as long as we can.
Yeah, if they got questions, I'm gonna answer them. If y'all have questions, y'all gotta make them short too. The question box can't take long questions. So if make multiple ones, if you need to make them smaller.
Got you. What someone says after the breakdown in regards to the Cat 1 deal, what helped you really get over that and keep pushing, Mario?
When that big deal when any deal goes sour, what I recognized was that when you put all of your energy, attachment is a big word. Attachment, people. I'm going to get deep with this one because when you put all of your energy and attachment into an outcome. So my outcome was I need this company to sign this contract. They sign this contract. I'm going to launch this company. I'm going to hire these people. We're going to make things kick off. It's going to happen. When you start telling yourself that story over and over and over again to the point where you don't start pitching other companies, you have all your eggs in one basket. You realize that you are in a desperate situation because if that thing doesn't work out, it can completely wipe you out or at least put you on a very long pause until you can kind of rebuild yourself. So what let me know that I could keep going was two things. Number one, when you are trying to put something out there and you get told no by a few people, you haven't gotten told no enough yet. You have to listen to the no's. And what I was doing is I was listening to the no's. And you'll get two different types of no's. You'll get a no that will be the same no over and over and over. No, that's too expensive. No, that's too expensive. Or no, that's the wrong time. No, it's the wrong time. Okay. But then you get no's that are different. That's too expensive. And then you go to somebody else. No, that's the wrong time. Then you go to somebody else. Oh, I thought it had other features. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with my product. It just means I haven't met the right person at the right time yet to align with the right answers. But if I'm consistently hearing that my price is too high and that's really being an obstruction, maybe I need to go back and take a look at myself and tweak where I actually am pricing myself and see if I need to adjust that because I'm hearing that same no over and over and over. So I knew that I was hearing different no's. And since I was hearing different no's, I knew I had to keep going because I just haven't uncovered enough people. The issue with no's, and this is the bottom line answer to anything that's holding you back, is that you haven't turned up enough frequency. You have to turn up enough frequency. Right now, I got three $300,000 pitches. Like these are presentations that we put together that we presented to sponsors to sponsor us and a bunch of stuff that we want to do with a brand, 3 different brands for an entire year. And each one of those brands are sitting down right now looking at a $386,000 proposal. 3 of them, 3 different ones. I I don't know if any one of those three are going to come through. If one of them does, that's great. It keeps things moving. If all three of them does, that's gravy. That's beautiful. Like, it's going to change a lot of things. If none of them come through, it's no problem, because I got three more that I'm getting ready to send the pitches out to.
Right.
And then I have another three more. Like, you have to turn up your frequency, and you have to know that part of this game is being told no until you get to the yes. This is part of it.
Someone, Love Tiffany said, what do you recommend if you need money for a startup but don't want a loan?
Sponsorship. This is my biggest thing. Like, the four sources of getting income or getting money for your ideas for a startup. Four sources. You got loans, which you already said you don't want to do. 2, you got your personal savings or credit, if you have any of that, like your own money. 3, you got family and friends that you could ask some money from. And then 4, you got venture capital. You could also do crowdfunding, or you could do Patreon, or what are those things like. But those are basically the four sources. The fifth one, nobody really knows a lot about, or they just haven't been exposed to it, and that's getting the money from brands. So if you can come up with an idea that a brand would fit nicely within, or your audience that you're expecting to develop this product for, like the people that will use your product, what other products and services do they use? Because then you should be approaching those companies saying, I'm about to build this thing for this market, for this segment, for these types of people. And they would need to be introduced to your product, or our research has shown that they already buy your product. Don't you want them to buy more of it? So that's the, you got to build what they all say in the business is your minimum viable product, your MVP. You got to build that minimum viable product. And that's why I think too many people too often try to look at, I can't do a thing until I get money. Yes, you can. You just haven't probably thought creatively enough yet about how to do that thing. Like, you just need a sample. You don't need the whole thing built. You don't even need it. You could even have it sketched.
Wow.
I've had people send me app ideas that are sketched by pencil. Here's what the home screen will look like. Here's what the menu will look like. If they click this button, here's what they will get if they get onto this page. Here's how we're going to capture their info. Here's the subscription model. Like, wow. Y'all don't get caught up in needing the money, because it's a tough, I got to give tough love on this. And I'm not saying this is at Tina, but anybody that's thinking like this, because we are so conditioned to think this way. And it sounds like, Mario, you're tripping. You have to think about how you can develop any piece of it without having to think you have to get money to do it. Right. Because if you think that I can't, if you don't think of, if I find somebody to give me money, then I can build it. If you remove, because then your destiny is relying on somebody else. So if you remove the fact that you think you need money, if you just, instead, the question is, what's the smallest thing I can develop towards this on my own? What can I do today towards it? What can I do this week? What can I do this month? Who could I call to help me? Who would give me some support? Who might lend me 10 hours of volunteer time? Like, this is what I mean about the ask. If your app is that dope, and you know your app is going to help people or change people or bring entertainment or do something impactful, then stop worrying about like you and tell people what you're trying to get done and ask for advice, and you'll get the money. Too many people want to ask for the money and they never get the advice. If you ask for advice, you will find that you will get the money.
You have someone on here that's saying, her name is Hey Daisy B. It's not in the question box, but she says, can you be my first guest when I produce my first series?
Oh, me? Yeah. This how I'm on with Lawrence.
Right.
Because Lawrence asked. And Daisy is my homegirl from Baltimore, so she knows that's what's up. That's done deal. But yes, because you asked, Daisy, this is reinforcement of the ask. Because you asked, I said yes. So yeah, let me know.
That's it. So I love how the ask is there. I love hearing with Tiffany's question in regards to ways to get the money if you're not wanting to take a loan. So there was a point in your career where you partnered up with some huge names. You partnered up with, it looks like Entrepreneur for distribution. You partnered up, I think, Roker Media, and then NASDAQ comes into the picture. You guys win an Emmy off, I believe, was a pilot series. If I'm right or wrong on that.
Right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You did your research.
Of a pilot series. What does teamwork mean to you, and how did you guys get this done?
Yo, teamwork is incredible, because teamwork is, here's the thing about teamwork. The biggest thing I've learned, and I can share with people that they need to really try to implement for themselves, is number one, clarity of your, insane clarity on your vision.
Whew.
And what I mean by that is, that doesn't mean you give me a document that's paragraphs long. Insane clarity on your vision means I want you to take the back of a business card and write it in that space. And not with no small font. Don't be trying to squeeze in little letters nobody can read.
Right.
So you get it. Like, it's got to be very simple and concise. Family, team, here's the deal. This show isn't about Mario Armstrong. This show is about us being able to create content that can impact other people's lives so that they can reach their truest potential. Done. Now, what did I say in that comment? What I said was, it ain't about me. Number one, as a team leader and to build a team, if you remove your ego and you remove yourself, everybody already knows you running the squad. They already know. So why you got to tell everybody you in charge? Why you got to act like you in charge? Why you got to be like all demanding and all that? Like, everybody already knows it's your baby. It's your thing and you running it. So what you now need to do is figure out, how do you empower the people that are working with you? And it's not by just saying, here's the job description, follow the job description. We don't hire based off a skill set first, which is crazy, because a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? Well, after I read Nike and Shoe Dog and how he built his company and a bunch of other people I would talk to in the green rooms, I realized, like, no. They match for culture fit first. So what's culture fit to your organization? What does that mean? What type of mentality do they have to have? What type of person are they? You know, are they passionate about, like, I can hire a gazillion videographers to shoot my show. I want videographers that are either pursuing their own dream or read self-help, or they listen to podcasts that are about getting their mind right, or about hustling well, or about doing the right stuff. Like, if you consume that type of content, then you fit my culture. If you are trying to do something for yourself and grow your thing, then you fit my culture. So finding that cultural fit is key to creating a team. And then I ask this one question every time we hire. What's the thing that you're super passionate about right now? Like, that's what I'll ask. Like, what are you passionate about? Where are you trying to go? And you're like, forget this job. Don't try to tell me something that you think is going to appeal to me to get you to be hired for this gig. Where do you see yourself 3 years, 5 years? Like, what are you ultimately working towards? And then I tell them why I say this. And here's why I say, look, the reason why I'm asking you this question is because I'm looking to figure out how I can make sure that the work that you're going to do for us also benefits you.
Love it. Wow.
When you start talking like that, and people actually, because people would come to me and be like, yo, at first, I thought you were just like lying, or I thought you were like used car salesman. Like, I was like, sure, he really cares about what my passions are. Like, he really wants me to come and do this job and do a good job doing it. He's selling a bunch of whatever. He said, but then you put me in this role, and then you slid this project to me, and then you asked to do this thing, and then they would go like, once I realized like you were for real, they were like, I don't want to work anywhere else. And I was like, exactly. Right. As long as I have room to help you elevate. Now, if I max out on what I can do for you, then it's time for you to go ahead. But until that time, my job is to help you elevate within, and that builds everything for everybody.
Wow. Love it. We have someone who actually yesterday launched his wine business, who just jumped into the Cashing and Dreams podcast. Shout out I Am Tricks. and it's Bent Wine Company. He just actually launched it yesterday, I believe, right there in your hometown, Baltimore. Shout out to I Am Tricks. Congratulations to you, bro, on
I got to get up on that.
Yeah, on your wine company. He just actually launched it, and I'm super inspired, super motivated by that. So thank you for jumping in to the
whoever that is, DM me. Make sure that you DM me before tonight's over, so I get to understand who you are and what you're about, and get to show some love.
That's what's up. You mentioned from free to fee. Speak a little bit on from free to fee. Elaborate on this for me, please.
Man, this is the idea of really being humble, removing, again, that ego, which, as you can see, is starting to be a theme, a trend. And it's because I was like an unconsciously selfish person. Like I wasn't consciously being selfish. I was already wired to just be selfish. Like I was wired to like look out for me. And I had to realize like that was really stunting my growth and getting in a lot of my way. And so this is why you hear me talk a lot about removing myself from the picture and making it bigger than me. So from free to fee simply means I'm willing to do something for free because I know the fee will come. So then the question is, well, what skills do I need to acquire? And how can I acquire those skills? Like one of the things that always holds people up is like, I would love to be able to do X, but in order for me to do X, I need somebody to hire me so I can get skills doing X. And you're like, and I'm like, no, not today. That was 20 years ago talk. That was 10 years ago talk. That's not today.
Right.
Today, I don't care what it is
that
you want to develop. There's a site that will teach you. There's a video on YouTube. There's a podcast talking about it. There's a free course online somewhere. There's a phone where you can start to develop it yourself. Like there's no excuse for you to start creating to the best that you can, whatever it is you want to do. Like when I was coming up, the free to fee was I need to get experience on television because that was my dream. But I was working a regular day job. So I was like, yo, how am I going to get experience on TV? Well, I'm going to leverage this radio hustle that I was doing. I was doing a little radio show. And I was like, let me take that to the TV station and convince them that I want to do a segment of like what I do on the radio, but I'm going to do it on the morning news.
Right.
And I'll do it for free. And they were like, wait, we don't have to pay you? You're going to teach our viewers about technology every Thursday? I was like, yep. And I'll be here. I'll be on time. And I did that routinely. Why? Because I needed to learn what it was like to be live on air in the newsroom with 30 seconds left to go, knowing which camera is which camera. How do y'all mic me? What's the lighting about? How do I show something to the camera? Oh, everything is backwards when you look at it on camera. Oh, I think I'm pulling on my right ear. I'm actually pulling on my left ear. Like all this stuff, like you learn all of these things. How somebody talking to you in your ear. You got 15 seconds left. Go ahead, wrap it up. And you can't be like, where'd that come from? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I needed to learn because the bigger vision was that I wanted to be on national TV. And so I had to learn. So I went locally to where I knew I could stumble and fall a little bit. And especially if I didn't say, give me money, like, yo, you got nothing to lose. I'll do it for free. So that was the reason for from free to fee. If you can apply being a volunteer, doing something a few hours a week, just figuring out like who can you work for free to get you the skill set you need. And by the way, if you do this route, you got to show up like you're getting paid. Because if you don't show up like if you don't show up like you're getting paid, then they're going to end up talking about you, and it's going to ruin your reputation faster before you even get the skills you need.
Wow! Shout out to the 3 years that you put in doing that Tech Thursdays from 4:30 a.m. to 6, then to have to leave from 6 to get to work by what time? Was that by 7:30, 8 o'clock?
No, so it was more like 8. So it really was like I get up at like 4:30, 4:45, and then I'd be like dressed and eat by like 5:45. So I'm headed out the door by like 5:45, get to the station about 6:15, 6:30, and then I go on the air at like 7:30, and then leave there at like 7:45, and then get to the day job by like 8:15.
Wow, it's crazy. I am Tricks. He says you actually worked with my girlfriend at WEAA. So you guys,
That was one of the radio shows right there. That was one of the ones that I did for free that I didn't get paid, but I used that as leverage to get me money later.
Yep, and I'll shout out her name. I believe it's Crystal J. I don't know if you remember that name, but Crystal is the girlfriend there. So he's saying nuts.
Okay,
yep.
Cool.
So yeah. All right. So shout out again to Tech Thursday. For 3 years, you did from free to fee. And that's amazing. I have a saying, don't chase the dream, you will eventually get tired. I heard you once say, chase the dream, then the money will come is a recipe for disaster. Talk a little bit about it.
Yes, we're really aligned on that, man. Because chasing the dream and the money will come. This is me taking a shot at this old adage where people are like, just do what excites you and you will eventually get money for it. And what I'm saying is, I know a bunch of broke people that were doing what excites them and they never figured out how to get the money for it. And so what I say is, like, you have to go after your dream with the understanding of how to monetize it. You can't just be going after the dream and just saying, oh, I'm going to do this thing because I love to do it, because I love to do it. Eventually I'll get paid. No, you won't. People will take advantage of you forever until you start to recognize, like, no, I have value. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to charge my services, or it's time for me to charge higher pricing than what I was charging before. So that's what it really means to me. Is like, you have to pursue your passion with monetization in mind.
I'm talking about people are saying page full of notes. Thank you. Time well vested. They are getting something out of this situation. You guys could have been
fantastic.
But tonight you are on the Cashin' and Dreams podcast with Mario Armstrong / how can we the Never Settle show. This is amazing.
Right? Yeah. That's it.
Yo, this is big. Like, let's see. Okay, so
where you want to go next? You got all these really great questions. Where are you going next?
All right, so you use you said once, use affirmations consistently with followed up actions. Help me on this. When you say followed up actions, like I could say, I'm a king. Money comes frequently, easily, and abundantly. I am where I am, but I'm not where I am. You can throw these affirmations out, but when you say followed up with action, speak a little bit on this.
Well, there's a karmic link to everything. There's energy based into everything. Everything we do, there's energy that's coming from us, from our thoughts, from our actions, from our words, from our movements, and that energy is linked. And what does that energy say about you? So for me, affirmations is a way of reinforcing the energy that you're trying to put out there for yourself. Another way of looking at it is, do your actions match up to your ambitions? Like, you can be an ambitious person, but if you aren't taking any action towards it, you're really just a really good wisher. You're really just a good at wishing. Like, you're just really good at dreaming and wishing. If you got these ambitious ideas, but your actions don't match the ambitions. So my actions have to match. If I really want to make multi-million-dollar deals, if I really want to be able to have multi-million-dollar income, if I really want to be able to have a show that runs 40 weeks out of the year at a time, if I really want to be able to put out a book that's going to impact people's lives, what are the actions that I'm actually taking towards that work, towards that ambition? And so affirmations is a way of getting you to clarify what it is you really would like to do for yourself, but it's also a way for you to hold accountability to yourself to put those actions into place. And that's where the hard work is. Like, most people, they don't want to do this kind of hard work, man. Happiness isn't simply a mood. Happiness is consistent work. Work. It's not just a mood. And a lot of people think it's a mood. Like, I just want to be happy. And happiness comes and goes. It's fleeting.
Wow.
It's so affirmations have to have three things. They have to be in the present. You have to say I am, or you can't say I will. It's not future tense. I will be a millionaire is not it. I am a millionaire, or I am creating a $1 million business, or whatever it is. Like I am is important that you put in front of it. So it's got to be present tense. Number two, it's got to be positive. It can't be what you want to remove from your life. It's got to be what you want to bring into your life. So it's more about abundance and not scarcity. So it's a different. So what you're saying is you don't say I want to lose 10 pounds. No. You say I am making healthy food decisions. I am committed to exercising every single day. You don't say I want to lose weight. That is a negative reinforcement that you are telling to yourself consistently the negative issue that you're trying to address. And so it's got to be positive, the second step. So present tense, positive, and then the what's the third component for it? Present, positive, and you have to, damn, it's crazy. I teach this all the daggone time, and I'm having like a brain freeze right now. But it's got to be present tense. It's got to be something that you do positive, and then the repetition. It's got to be repetitious. You have to practice. It's 3 P's. It's like it's got to be present tense. It's got to be positive, and then you have to practice it. And what I mean by that is you have to actually put it into play. You have to put it into action. And so you have to practice it. You're like, well, how do I practice, becoming a millionaire? Well, okay, how are you spending your money right now?
Right.
Okay, what have you decided to change so that you can become the millionaire? What are you still doing, the same pricing that you were doing before? Or have you figured out, like, I need to upgrade my pricing? Or I need to do more collaborations, or I need to expand my portfolio of products and services. Like, what are you doing that's going to? So for me, that was quick. When we hit that first million in revenue for the company, I was like, yo, I never want to go back to not being able to see that ever again. Like,
right.
When you see that revenue, you're like, yo, never again. So then you have to say, well, what would have to change? Oh, well, then I can't do these types of deals anymore. They took a lot of time. They took a lot of energy. The margin on them was low. You have to start studying your business, studying your industry, studying your potential, and figuring out where that space is that you want to move. You have to quickly try new things and be fine with understanding that it's not failure, but that you're learning because you're quickly trying. And since you're quickly trying, the more chances you have to take a shot at something, the higher the likelihood that it's going to happen. But what we want to do is wait for it to be perfect and take that one shot as if everybody's going to be on base and you're going to hit a grand slam your first time up at bat. It's just not going to happen. So I think, for me, man, it was like, the affirmations really, you know what it is, yo? Like, those joints keep me accountable. Like, I was mad at myself the other day. I was reading one of these affirmations. I'll tell you which one it was. I was pissed when I read it. I'm like, you are not matching up your actions to this ambitious affirmation.
Wow.
And it was, where is it? It's the one about studying. I was so furious with myself. I can't even find it right now. I'm so upset about it.
While you're looking for that.
Oh, here it is. I am committed to studying to enhance my knowledge and expertise for others. And I read that to myself the past 2 days, and I was like, you a knucklehead because you haven't been studying, right? You faking it with this affirmation. The affirmation is talking to me, son. The affirmation is saying to me, you lying right now, so you better come on and start. You better, as soon as this session is done, you better go study something.
Wow.
It puts me in check with myself. And I believe that ambitious people need guardrails. If we don't have guardrails, ambitious people can just go all kind of ways with their ambition and their creativity and their passion and their desire. And they end up being great. They end up being like great, like middle, like they're a 7 at a lot of stuff, but they haven't hit anything as a 10. And so that was reminding me, you playing around with this. You need to get to a 10. Stop playing. Get back to it. So that's why I think affirmations are also important.
I love it. When I see things like that, ideas flow through my head. Let me give you a quick gem. That keychain that you have, what I would do, I would duplicate those and sell that. Sell the affirmation
I love it, bro.
for yourself. Duplicate those because you don't have to rewrite them. All you have to do is that keychain made 1,000,000 times and sell that to whoever wants to buy those. I think that's a dope.
You know what, bro? The fact that you just did that, let me tell you this: if I do this, I will give you a percentage of the proceeds.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Look,
if I do this. Hey, don't get all hype. It might not be it might be 4%. It depends. Like, I'm a businessman. You ain't asked for that percent up front. I'm giving you that percent in exchange for the gem that you freely dropped. Y'all watching a business deal and negotiations happen right in front of your face. Trust me, if I do something with this idea, you will get something in return for that. I'm not that dude.
Look, from free to fee. I'm with it. This conversation was a free conversation. Let's make it go to fee. So I love it.
All right. Hey, man, that's a great one. That's an easy one for me to jump on.
I mean,
you don't have to for me to jump on.
Write anything. All you have to do is just reduplicate what you have for yourself, and then people will buy into it because what you're saying makes your affirmations make a lot of sense. I want to just say something quick. Birdie Lynn.
And then we get to the point where we customize it. We create the software where all you gotta do is tell me what you put in your own affirmations, and then we'll custom print the joints for you. Like,
and with it. I'm with it. Sounds like a plan to me. Listen, Birdie Lynn says, I want that to be the new norm as far as when you said you wasn't going back and things of that nature. So, Birdie Lynn, I am gonna make this the new norm, or this is the new norm.
This is the present tense. You got it, Lawrence. That's it, man.
This is the new norm to becoming that millionaire. She was dropping some affirmations. She also said, I am a millionaire. I am joy. I am abundant. So I'm definitely with you here. Look, my wife is in here, an exquisite event. She says she wants one.
She wants one.
So this is dope. You have one on the wall. I don't see it right now, but I've watched you, so I wrote this one down. People lose their way because they lost their why.
Man,
Speak on this. What do you?
You are observant, brother. Like, are y'all hearing the amount of research? So this is a person that has been following me or watching some of our stuff over time, and is now at a moment where he's doing an interview with that person, and he's pulling all this stuff from previous stuff and then the research he did to get ready for this. Like, this is the type of work ethic that I want y'all to really see. And I'm saying this, man, because I want you to also hear it. It's important for you to hear it from somebody that has made a living off of interviewing people and creating content and video, that you have a gift, that this is real for you, and that you have to continue this path because you have what it takes, and you're showing with your intuition, but also your intelligence and your research process that is super strong. And you're a great listener, which is really an incredible thing that most interviewers don't really have. So with that being said, the reason for that most people lose their way because they lost their why is because it's a very simple way of saying when you've lost sight of your goal, it's easy for you to get off track. It just is. Now, let me break this down, because there are times when you have to get off track. Maybe the money's not coming in. So the goal, it's not happening right now. So you got to go and do things to bring in some income. Don't think I wasn't there. I told y'all already, I was broke. I was doing these little speaking engagements that I had to do to bring in any little bit of money I could bring in. But this is before I was really well known, or at least even on TV. And so we were getting like little $100 here, $100 here for like doing these like speaking engagements. But the thing that was really driving me crazy was the dream was to get my own TV show, my own web series, my own video show. So me doing these public speaking gigs that were in specifically for my expertise with technology. Like, people were hiring me to come and talk to them about how they could use technology better to run their businesses and organizations. That wasn't something that was really being talked about on television. Like, that wasn't a thing. And so my point is, it wasn't aligned. The stuff that I was getting paid for, the little itty bitty stuff that I had to do to bring in some money so we could put food on the table, was not aligned with the goals that I was trying to get to. So when this happens, there are two possible outcomes. One, you become so distracted with the hustle of getting some paper, that you end up continuing going this way with this path, but your goal and your big vision is way over here. So that's one. Now, if you need to get the dough, what you need to start doing is, well, how do I make these speaking engagements? That was our dough for me. How do I make this dough work for my goal? The minute I had that epiphany, it was like, oh, wait, so y'all want me to talk about technology, but ultimately I want to start to sharpen up my skills to be able to go on TV, and I want to talk about these other topics. So here's the deal. If I come on to your platform and I do my talk for technology for 30 minutes, can I get an extra 10 minutes to talk about these two other topics?
Wow.
So now I had a room where, and then I would have I'd be like, okay, you got to go to LA for this one, or you got to go to Atlanta for that one. And then I would be like, I hit Craigslist, like it wasn't even Instagram then, it was like Craigslist. I would hit Craigslist and be like, I need a videographer. I can pay $50. I need somebody to come and record this half-hour session. And all I wanted was not the first 30 minutes. I wanted that last 10 minutes so I could start showing people, here's what I'm about. And you take 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And now you have a reel that looks like, yo, this dude be everywhere talking about these particular topics. Maybe we should bring him on the air to talk about this stuff. No, I wasn't. So you have to make your hustle in a way work towards the big goal, or you will lose your way. So keeping your why in front of you. I want to develop this web series. I want to create this podcast. Oh, but I got to go and do this part-time job because I got to get this cake. Okay, well, if you work at Starbucks, how can you make that still work for you? Is there something at Starbucks, instead of looking at Starbucks as like, man, it's a waste of my time. Wait a minute. Maybe you need a leadership skill. Maybe you need better finance skills. Maybe you should be on register. Maybe you got to think, like, what are the things I'm going to need in order for my big goal to work for me? Because I'd be damned if I'm going to spend time on this side thing and not get something from it that I can look back on and say, at least I got that little piece to help me with this bigger vision.
Love it. We're going to go to the question box.
All right, cool.
I want to put this one up. Not sure if it was for me or if it was for you, but they're saying, would you be a guest on my show, Lawrence? I would.
I think that's for you, bro.
Right. I would definitely love to be a guest on your show. DM me if you're still here, and we'll go ahead and make that happen. Someone says, how do you get away from your ego? Best advice I can take today. How do you get away from your ego?
By stop being so damn self-centered. It's honestly, the way you get away from it is you think, don't take this wrong, try to find the education in what I'm about to say here. You think it's about you. You think you're actually important. You think people really care about what you're working on. You think that somebody's going to really be watching you and you're going to be embarrassed if you fail doing something. You think that, people are going to be looking at you side-eye because they're like, how do you think you can actually do that thing? Like, you are too focused on yourself, and being that you're so focused on yourself, you are allowing the ego to come forward. And when that happens, you're now making your moves based off of what feels good for you, not based off of what is the right move for others. So the easiest way for me to try to help you kind of minimize that is to always say, I can go, and this is an old African proverb, I can go fast alone or I can go farther together. So if you constantly say to yourself, how do I go farther together? When you start thinking about the impact is bigger than you and removing your concerns, your need for validation, your need for acceptance, your need to feel right, all these ego-driven things, when you remove that self-centeredness and say, how can I be a vessel for others? Or how can I have impact for others? Then your personal agenda becomes a public agenda. When your personal agenda becomes a public agenda, it is no longer about you. And now you're about to have some serious impact because now you're about everybody else.
That's huge. That is huge. Let me see. We got one in the comments, and then we have this one here I want to bring up. How important is it to say no and be selective with opportunities?
So good. KC, the accumulator. Good question. It's critical to be able to say no. The issue is, are you saying no for the right reasons? And so the hard thing about opportunities is you never know which one is the one. And so you have to have some kind of vetting process on how you come to your no. Somebody may offer you something and you're like, oh, you want me to do that for free? You might instantly say, no, I don't do free. I only get paid. But what you could have missed is, well, who's going to be at that event, or who's going to be impacted by this thing that you're asking me to do for free? Oh, I didn't know that audience would be there. Okay, so hold on. You want me to do that for free, but in exchange for me being free, can you have everybody sign up for my email newsletter? Can you have everybody buy a copy of my book? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, leverage the negotiation. What I want you to not do is to just be so quick to fire off a no based off of limited information. We are losing more opportunities because we think we can see what the exact opportunity is as an obvious thing right there on the top layer, and you haven't even begun to dug. I call it being 10-minute curious. I'm always 10-minute curious, meaning somebody says, Mario, can you come and speak to us? All right, my speaking fee is anywhere on the low end, 15K, on the high end, 20K. Like, that's my speaking fee. Took me years to get to that speaking fee. Trust me, I remember when I was speaking for $500, $250. I remember when I got the first $1,000 check. Then you got $2,500. Then you get 5K. Then you're like, yo, 5K is enough. Like, charging people more than 5K is crazy. Like, they shouldn't be paying more than 5K for me. Then you find out other speakers are getting 10K. And you're like, wait a minute, hold on. So researching your industry and understanding what the pricing models are for your industry and where you are, honestly, are you at the beginning of that curve? Do you have enough expertise and skill set that you're in the middle of that curve? Or do you have enough experience and skill set that you're at the top of that curve and you've been getting ripped off for too long? So you got to know your industry and know the model. So all of that to say that even if someone comes to me and I say, here's the rate, because that's what they'll say, what's your rate? I'll give them the rate. I'll say, here's the budget. And I don't talk prices. That's the other thing. If you're your own personal brand, if any of you are content creators and you're also selling yourself from the monetary side, you should try to see if you can get somebody else to try to do that, because they can get you better negotiation than you can possibly get for yourself. But that's a whole separate conversation. Let me not lose focus on this, the question of saying no and different opportunities. I always say this: if this isn't within your budget, let me know. CEO Nicole always puts that in every single email. Here's what his price is. If this isn't in your budget, let us know. Right. We're open. We'll work with you. So what that does is it keeps the door open. So what happens? Some people will be like, nope, that's completely in our budget. Some people will be like, that's way more than we expected. And then that brings up the opportunity. So then we go, okay, well, who's going to be at this thing? Or what could I get from this? Could I get other promotion? Maybe they got a huge following on Instagram. Right. Maybe I want it. Maybe my priority, you have to know what your priorities are. Maybe my priority is right now, I want to build more Instagram followers and I want to get more people to my podcast. Hey, client, if you would advertise my podcast and my Instagram in your newsletter, and you would do that 4 times, and we go live on your account, and we do a couple of other things, sure, I'll do it for this price, or sure, I'll do it for free. If it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't, and you need to walk away. You have to understand where your energy is being spent. But just because they don't have the money doesn't mean it's not a good opportunity. And that's what I want people. So ask. You get a thing, it doesn't seem right, you want to say no, before you hit no, just say, tell me a little bit more about this. Yeah. Yeah. And see if any of that stuff aligns with your priorities.
Yeah, knowing your worth and what you're doing, if it's worth it, in a nutshell. Knowing and what you're doing, is it worth it? We got one more in the box, I believe. Let me see. could I approach a brand for sponsorship with a self-made video? How could I pitch it to that brand?
Yep. Answer is absolutely. You can approach a brand for a sponsorship with a self-made video. I just approached Cadillac with a photo. So here's the strategy I did. I'm trying to get Cadillac as a sponsor. So I research, I go online and I find out like who is the chief marketing officer for Cadillac, the CMO. That's the big dog that's going to make the decisions about marketing. Then I also go and look at who runs multicultural marketing or diversity marketing or diversity and inclusion marketing for Cadillac. So I'll go and find out who that name is. Then I'll try to go and find out like who's the social media manager, like who's running social for the Cadillac brand, like who's responsible for that. So I'm doing this Google searches, LinkedIn. I'm doing my other tactics and tools like email finders, like getemail.io to try to like find these email addresses. And I'm searching on Instagram, I'm searching on Twitter to try to find who these people are. Once I get a little a database of who these three or four of these people are, while I'm working on that, I'm also thinking, okay, how am I gonna get their attention? All right, I'm trying to get Cadillac as a sponsor. Let me go shoot a picture of my father and I, because we both have Cadillacs. So Cadillac runs in the family. So I'm like trying to prove to them like this ain't no fad. Like we really live this life and we about this thing. This is who we are. We want to do some business with y'all. So I'm showing the transparency. So here's what happened. While I'm doing the photo shoot with my dad, I had my son there with another camera and he's shooting video. So one camera is taking photos, the other camera is shooting video. My dad, he just starts talking. Yeah, I had my first Cadillac was 1968. It was a chocolate brown. Eldorado had chocolate brown leather interior, had a cream top. He just starts, he's just going off the top. And you're picturing every single, and he's running through his timeline of Cadillacs that he had throughout his coming up. Right. And you're like running through this and you're like catching this on video. I'm like, yo, he doesn't even know I got the documentary right now. Like this is like, I got the video right. So what I did, so now I got the video and now I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put this little 1.5 minute video together and I'm gonna send it to him. But before I do that, I sent them the picture of me. I posted it on IG and then I DM'd a bunch of friends. I DM'd a whole bunch of friends and family and a couple of my communities. And I was like, hey, you know, I don't be asking y'all for favors. Can y'all go and like this post? So I wanted that to get seen and get noticed and get people in there commenting. And then after that happened, I then sent those 3 people the link and just said, hey, just wanted to let y'all know who I was. My dad and I love Cadillacs. We've always had Cadillacs in our lives. This post is blowing up on my feed right now. Wanted y'all to just see it. That's it.
Wow.
And then poof, gone. I'm gone. And then in the DM, I get this response. We appreciate your business. Wow. And then on Twitter, the other lady goes, beautiful picture. You and your dad look amazing. I just wanted to get their attention.
You got them.
Now I'm going to hit them next with the video. So now I'm going to hit them with the DM or the email with the video. They're going to be like, this dude keeps coming back at us. And then the last video that I'm going to do is one where it's basically a written letter, but it's done via video. So it sounds like this. Hi, Alexis. My name is Mario Armstrong. I'm a 2-time Emmy winner. I know you've seen the photo of my father and I with the Cadillac. Here it is real quick in case you forgot it. Then remember I sent y'all a video of my dad talking about it. Show a little bit of my dad talking about it. I'm really trying to get your attention because I know that our product is aligned with what Cadillac represents. They represent moving forward in your life, pursuing your aspiration, going after your ambition. Never settle is exactly that life. Alexis, all I need is an 11-minute phone call with you. Could you give me 11 minutes just to talk so we could just see what the possibilities are? If there's nothing there, there's nothing there, but we should at least chat and have a conversation. And then I'm gonna hit her and then the other 2 people with the same damn video letter and see what happens. And then if they don't move, I take the same, I go to the next one. This is why the frequency then matters. So I just gave him the game on how he could go about or she could go about this process. But yes, you have enough for your idea. You don't need to have everything completed and done. You have enough to go ahead and get that sponsorship conversation going.
That was a guy, his name was Jay Marley. If you could rob a cemetery for a piece of greatness, who would you rob and what would you take from them?
If I could rob the cemetery?
The cemetery for a piece of greatness, who would you rob and what would you take from them?
That's a really good. Come up with that one. I would. Everybody I'm thinking of ain't dead yet. Is that a first? Everybody I'm thinking of ain't dead yet, bro. And I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to kill anybody.
No. Do not kill anybody on the Cash in the Dream.
I don't want to be like, oh, Mr. Blah. No, he ain't dead. He ain't dead.
All right, listen. Let's.
And then my luck, something happened to that person next week. You'd be like, I am killed him.
All right, look, we could bypass that one. Actually, it's not. You're not the first. You're actually the second, and he owes me that answer. So I'm gonna hold it to you to get me that answer. Get that when you could think of who exactly you would want to rob. Jay Marley says, I truly appreciate the answer. Definitely took notes on the process.
Okay, all right, real quick. I would say I would rob Malcolm X for his intellect.
Ooh.
I would rob Maya Angelou for her, not her words, y'all, for her ability to penetrate the soul.
Ooh. The ability.
That would be my two.
I love it. The ability.
And then I would rob, and then I would just want to rob Tupac's bravado. Like I just want to be Tupac's bravado. Just in the wheelchair, giving you the finger, just all of it. Just all of it.
Those three, Malcolm X, Angelo, and Tupac Shakur. I love it. I love it. Two more questions for you, and then I'm gonna leave the floor for you. We got about 5 minutes left, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. When you hear the quote, "Create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation," what are your thoughts?
Say it again.
Create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation. When you hear this quote, which is what I'm wearing, right? This is the brand. Create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation. What are your thoughts?
Oof. Wow. Horrible. Like in a good way, but horrible. Like I instantly go to mental shackles. I actually see my people cuffed, chained, but not just physically, mentally. Read that shirt again.
Create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation.
That's it. It says to me that you will forever be controlled and never be able to control yourself. You will forever be living somebody else's dream and therefore jeopardizing your destiny. You will forever not feel free, and you will always feel some sense of confinement, even in your pseudo freeness. To me, it's because it doesn't, and this isn't about like you got to become an entrepreneur. I'm talking about being able to be a free thinker. I'm talking about being able to understand what you're trying to do in life and where you're trying to go and how you're going to play the game to work in your favor, in your benefit. And I find a lot of people may not get that shirt because some of us are still so hardcore that we like, yo, I'm not playing that game. You selling out. If you playing that game, you a sellout. Like, hold on, fam. Like, wait a minute. We all in the same game. It depends on how you play it. It determines whether or not you a sellout. Like if I play it without any morals, I'm a sellout. If I play it without any integrity, I'm a sellout. But if I know what I'm doing and I know how I'm getting it and I know why I'm getting it, if I'm playing Robin Hood, but you can't see my vision, so you calling me a sellout, but yet wait till you see what happens 3 years from now on the back end, You know, so what I'm saying is a lot of times we are our worst enemies is really what I'm saying. And I think what that shirt says to me is your foundation is your ability to think freely about how you want to move, the things you want to do, and how you're going to do them. Cannot happen if you constantly are blaming other people, if you constantly are excusing your weaknesses, if you're constantly avoiding the hard work. So that is when you're stuck in those shackles, and those shackles can be hard to break because we've been systemically put in that position, but we can break those shackles. And I love that your shirt gets us to really think about, yeah, I don't want to be on no damn plantation. It's 2020 out here. Like, what, like, the hell are we talking about? You're right. Let's build this foundation. You know what I mean? So your shirt is a call to action in a positive way because it makes people reflect on the juxtaposition of being in slave mentality versus being in free mentality.
I love it. All right, we got two more questions for you. For those who are tuning in, this is Mario Armstrong. You guys have to go back and watch I believe we've been on the line now, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Information, great advice, and the people that's been joining in, totally amazing questions, totally amazing energy, nothing but energy on here. So my next question that I have for you, and great answer by the way to the what are your thoughts when you hear the create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation. I mean, amazing, bro, of how you just broke it down. That is the why behind why this is a part of the brand. And I don't know if you get these questions a lot. I remember when I first started the Cashing in Dreams theme with the create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation, and you were live, and I didn't put the quote in the comments, but I was asking you, how should I kick this off the ground? And you gave some advice, but now hearing it and giving that answer, we're aligned with it. So I really the information that you gave, and I'm going to just keep pushing this one at a time. And giving that free thinking mindset to as many people as possible. I really appreciate.
Because it's so good to hear that was your intent, and that you know, when you're a creator and you create something and then you put it out there and then you ask somebody for their feedback or their opinion or whatever about it, and then they give you exactly kind of like what your intent was without knowing what your intent was.
Right.
It does something to you as a creator. Not that you needed validation from anybody for your idea. You got your own thing going and it's working, and you developed, since that came from you, that was supposed to come out of you. But it's just great when someone else actually gets what it is you were trying to do, because it just it can kind of reaffirm what you already know. And so I love the fact that you can, you know, that happened for you, and that it was that clear for me to understand. Like, it was like, I get it. Like, I understand what you represent just in that shirt. Like, I understand the whole holistic picture now. So now I can see you doing all kind of like spin-off products and projects and different things that are all based around that same mental space, that same concept.
Right. The mission statement: create your own foundation or forever plantation. My next question for you is what is next for Mario Armstrong? What is next for you?
I mean, it's happened to me. Like, it's happening right now. I don't like, it's going to sound like I'm dodging. I don't like what's happening next, because if I do what I'm supposed to be working on right now, the next will happen. So if I'm really operating correctly in the present with what I think, this is why I try to tell people, like, what is your next right move? Like, what's the next right move to make? And I'm talking small steps. So what's got me excited about things coming up is that I'm making moves right now on 2 or 3 different things that really got me excited. One, I just broke through creatively on a new concept on how we can do the Never Settle show. I can't do the show the way we were doing it before right now. It had a live studio audience of 60 people. It was shot in Times Square. That production studio is still shut down. So I can't wait any longer. And I've been sitting still to gain momentum is one of my quotes on the wall. So I've been just sitting still. Like instead of forcing a response or forcing an answer, I've been sitting still to try to see if something will come to me. And man, when I tell you, I just came up with like the right mixture of peanut butter and jelly. And now that those two things are together, I can't wait to get this thing refined, tweaked. And so I just shot something today, and then I just recorded something with Damon John, and he don't even fully understand the picture because I ain't fully tell him. I was just like, yo, bro, I just need you to do this thing for me. Just trust me. I'll show you later type of thing. I just need this help right now. Just record this one line, say this thing for me. And so now it's going to go off to the editor. And if it comes back from the editor, the way it's looking in a rough cut, I'm excited about this new format for this talk show. So what you're basically hearing me talk about is really for the first time. I haven't talked about this publicly yet, but a new format for the Never Settle show is coming. So that's one. Two, my brother and I are working on a book, and my brother and I are both DJs. I mean, I've retired the DJ life. He still lives the DJ life, DJ Face Music, and he travels the world on tour as Rhapsody's DJ. So if you are into Rhapsody, or if you know who that lyricist is, she's a beast, and she's on Rock Nation. And so I came to him with an idea, and he was just like, wait, what? And then he started talking to some of the people that he knows. And so anyway, a book should be coming out in 2021. Super excited about that. And then I would say the last thing that I'm really excited about is something that my business partner and I have been working on. And it's this idea of these things called personal pitch videos.
Oh, wow.
So for those of you that know me, I have these affirmations that are like goals that I have to accomplish in order for me to wear certain shoes. So I can't wear these Nike Prestos until I get to this goal.
Wow.
But we're like right there. We're like right there. So that's the idea. Remember when I talked on the earlier live about a video letter and how to actually do your video letter? That's what the personal pitch thing is. It's I'm making video letters to a whole bunch of people that I have no idea if I'm going to reach. I mean, I'm going for Tyler Perry, Oprah's, Gayle King. Like I'm going, you know, I'm like delusionally optimistic about who I'm going to actually get to see this stuff. Right. But if I get one of them to see it, you know, it could change everything. Right. So I'm trying to get people to see the body of work that we've created and see what we're trying to develop and see if there's a possibility for them to want to partner, collaborate, discuss, or just support and help a brother out. So it's really a straight up like video letter. And those videos start going out next week. So I'm hoping to wear those shoes next week.
Got you. I was going to ask you, those things back, those cards look like price tags, but those are affirmations for you to actually wear those sneakers.
I can't wear these shoes. These Air Force One joints, can't wear them until the Never Settle new season is up and running.
Wow. Love it.
So they sit on the shelf.
Wow.
Yelling at me every day, making me suffer. Because I haven't hit it. But this is how I also keep my why in front of me. I can't wear these shoes until I get the book. When the book comes out. So when you see the book come out, or you see me put these shoes on, you know it's about to be on. Like, oh damn, Mario didn't hit the book.
So
he's about.
What you do is you actually go out, buy the reward early, shelf the reward with affirmation that I have to do this in order to. I love that. I'm. You just gave me a dope idea. Love it.
Thank you. Good. Good, because you've been dropping some gems all night. Yeah, I call those are my tangible affirmations.
I love it.
These are actual milestones that if I achieve, I can see them and they help remind me. And there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them to keep me focused on the only things that are really, really important.
I love it. Someone here says, how do you know when it's time to take the leap from salary to your own startup?
This is a good question. Mike on the Hudson 24. You never know. The only way you do know the answer to when it's time to take the leap from salary to your own startup is if your salary matches, if your startup matches your salary. Then you know it's obvious. right? Like if you're actually making the same money, then it's like, oh yeah, Mario, thanks. That's obvious. So the question is, how long can you ride getting the salary or developing the startup to get you close to the salary? But here's the thing that so many people miss in the formula. Listen to this part. You have a certain amount of hours that you are dedicating to the salary, certain amount of energy, certain amount of effort that you are dedicating to the salary. And therefore, you're not being able to take that same energy and dedicate it to the startup. So here's the question that you have to now ask yourself. You have to know the percentages of where you are in your salary to startup ratio. So let me break it down really quick. So let's just say, let's just do some round figures. Let's say you make 50 grand a year, or let's go higher. Let's say you make 100 grand a year. Let's say that's your salary, and you have a startup on the side that you're doing. But your startup right now is only bringing you 20 grand in. Okay, so you got to do 5 times the amount in order to get to that 100K. This is not a good time to leave the job. You are not going to get 5 times the amount of effort right now while you're still working the day job. Okay, so here's the thing. But so here's the thing. If you are 30 to 40K, you can actually consider leaving the day job. And here's why. Because if you are, I would say 30% or higher to getting to your regular salary, you can really start to consider leaving. But here's the prerequisite. You have to have clients on the books. You got to have customers that are lined up. You got to have a few that are lined up. It can't just be like, I think I'm going to make it work. You have to know that you have the clients lined up. Here's the other thing. You have to get real with yourself and ask yourself, how much can I decrease my quality of living? Can I bring my 100K lifestyle down to 70K? Because if I can bring it down to 70K, now that 40K that I'm at looks so much easier to get me to that 70. Now you start saying, wait, if I leave my full-time job and I put all my energy into this, there's no way I'm not going to be able to make that money up.
Makes sense.
But when it's a very big stretch, you have to either continue to kind of wait it out and build in more time, or you have to get bigger clients that show you like, oh, that's a big enough investment for me to go ahead and leave. But here's the other thing. The most important thing for any of this discussion about when is the right time to leave your day job for your hustle. And look, this is just my opinion and my advice from what I've seen work for me. Some people need to be pushed off the cliff because the only way they will survive is feeling the pressure up against their back. So you have to know you. If you know you're going to dilly-dally and you'll hang into your day job for another 5 years while you build this startup, then you need to jump off the cliff and build your wings on the way down. I don't like building my wings on the way down because I believe that I've come up with formulas to be strategic while I have the day job in order to give me a little bit more assurance to go ahead and jump off the cliff. So I would say that the last piece about this I would say is it is so daggone critical that the very first person that you immediately, while you're still working your side hustle, mind you, that you immediately, let me back up. The minute you bring in any income from your idea, the first thing you need to do is reinvest it into the business. A lot of times what people do is reinvest that into product, but really what you need to reinvest that to is into time, because that's the one thing that you can't buy. You cannot buy time. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that you need to hire somebody that can also bring in business immediately, as soon as you can. You have to hire somebody that can bring in business, a revenue generating position.
Wow. Wow. That's funny that you say that, because today was the first day that I reached out to someone who runs ads, a company that runs to generate business. So this is aligning, and the conversation was great, but you are absolutely right. If you do not have the income there find someone to bring on board that could assist you with bringing in the income. So I love what you just mentioned there.
And look, man, and some of these things, you know, there's also no law and science to this. Like, if you also know that the startup that you're working on is bringing you, so my hesitancy for anybody with a startup is, if you haven't proven that people will buy the product, then yes, you need to wait. If you have people buying the product, everything I said still matters, but it also doesn't matter, because only you know your business model, and only you know whether more people will buy what you need, and only you know how you're actually spending your time. So if you're being as productive as you possibly can with your time, and you're only hitting a certain threshold, then that means one of two things has to happen. You either need to leave the day job so that you can put more time into it, or you need to hire somebody that can bring some time into it while you keep the day job.
I love it. I love it. Someone says in the comments here, Mario is always showing up with the gold mine filled with diamonds.
The gold mine. I love it. Oh, wow.
I love that.
Hey, grateful. Great. That's, wow, gratitude. I appreciate that.
KC says here, that's the type of person I am. I had to jump this year. My wife here in Exquisite Events says, yep, confirmation law. Great gems. What is this person? Official. What's the
Author Angie? Yeah, major key alert.
Yeah. KC came back
That's
with
my girl right there.
Entrepreneurs are the silent partners. Yep. He mentioned something earlier that sometimes you got to be careful, because the people that are close to you could be. Did you say they were dream killers? Is that what you said?
Yes,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
You got to be careful, guys.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the dream killers. They show up in all places, man. So some people know that they're dream killing by design. Like, they just don't want to see you be successful because they're dealing with their own hate or their own, unhappiness. And so they don't want to see you get anywhere. So it's intentional, and you can spot them pretty quick. It's the ones that are like in your relationships, in your circles, in your home, that are kind of maybe side-eyeing what you're trying to do. And so you know that the full-on support's not there because they don't fully believe in the vision that you've shared with them or told them. And that they can start saying little things like, you sure you want to do this? You don't really have the skills for this. And that's being nice about it. Then you got the other ones that are like, I don't know why you spending your time, wasting your time with that anyway. You ain't no author. Like, we don't have anybody in this family that's ever written a book. Like, you can't write no book. Like, And what that is, that's somebody coming out of fear. That's because what they're actually saying is, and this is why it's very delicate on how you deal with dream killers, because a lot of people give you this hardcore advice, like, yo, just bounce from the dream killers. Son, you can't just bounce from your wife if she dream killing on you. Like you could, but is that really the solution? Like, that ain't really the solution right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just dismiss like your cousin or your uncle or your dad if they dream kill. So here's what you have to say to them. What you got to do is you got to be like, look, if they're important to your life, if they're not important to your life, stop talking about it. Like, move on. But if they are important people to your life, then the question that you have to pose to them, or the solution that you have to kind of bring to them, is you have to say this: look, here's the dream that I'm working on. Here's the opportunity that I'm trying to create. My question to you is this: do you love me? And they go, yeah. Now, if they say they don't love you, then you know you got a whole other thing you got to deal with, like what you're doing in this relationship. But if they say, yes, I love you, then you say, okay, cool. Here's the thing. I know nobody else in this family has ever done this kind of thing. I know this seems like it's very different. I know this seems like this isn't going to work. And I know what you're really trying to do is you want me to be successful. And so you're trying to protect me because you love me, right? You said you love me, right? Right. Yeah, you love me. So that means you're trying to protect me. But here's the thing. The love that you're expressing to me is actually feeling like it's stifling me, not protecting me. So can we try this? Can you just try to support what I'm trying to do without necessarily understanding? You don't have to understand it. You just got to understand that this is something that's important to me. And if I'm important to you, then that means it's important to us. Right. So you're trying to put it back on them about whether or not they really love you, because if they really understand the word love, then it's like, hold on, fam, I get it. You're trying to protect me, but your protection of that kind of love is actually holding me back.
Wow. I love it. Listen.
And then you can keep your relationships intact. That way Thanksgiving can still be cool. You ain't got to worry about dissing somebody at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Like, I'm trying to keep families together. I ain't trying to break y'all apart. But people are afraid of your vision. People will get afraid if it's something that they haven't seen before, or something that they never did for themselves, or can't understand. Then it's very hard for them to see it for you. But that doesn't mean they're really trying to intentionally kill your dream. It just means they're trying to protect you from what they think is about to be a catastrophic failure.
Woo. Woo.
That's what they think. So they're projecting that onto you. So show them examples of other people that have done what you're trying to do. And don't go and get Rihanna as your example. See, Rihanna became a billionaire. Well, you can't sing a lick. You ain't in the entertainment. Like, you got to get more realistic people. Look at people that were 40 under 40 list. Look at the people that are on the 30 under 30 list. Look at African American women that are entrepreneurs, or whatever your area of interest is. Like, if it's about authors, then show them other Black women authors that aren't huge names. They got to see, like, oh, this is actually achievable for a bunch of people. You got to expose them.
Yeah. And it's a process. I love it. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. You mentioned there were things that you did today for yourself. There was a little mix up on the date on my end. I do apologize, but we're here and we made
this was perfect. This was perfect, bro. It couldn't be any better. 3 times. Let me tell you something, friend. I've never done 3 lives straight with somebody. So that's a testament to you, your character, your energy, your vibe, and your work ethic that you brought to this, that I was like, yeah, we're going to continue to keep going live.
And I appreciate you. I call my last question the hint of inspiration, where you the show with a piece of greatness or inspiration, right? On what do and inside that hint of inspiration, you can leave whatever you want to leave. Just let it be a little hint to just sprinkle over these three lies back to back, so the people could get something out of it if they only listen to the hint of inspiration. The floor is yours, Mario.
Family, you are intrinsically motivated. That means your body is internally, without you even thinking, you are intrinsically motivated to avoid discomfort. Your brain is its own dream killer, believe it or not. Your brain is trying to say, that makes me nervous, don't do it. That sounds fearful, don't do that. My job with my brain is to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep you content, to keep you comfortable. Anything that seems awkward or weird, we got to put on our radar to make sure we're going to be safe. And so if you know that your brain is wired to intrinsically avoid discomfort, if you know this is a fact of the neuroscience of your brain, something that you cannot stop from happening. You can't stop when you get sweaty palms. You can't stop when your mouth gets dry. You can't stop when your underarms start perspiring. That's because you're nervous, or you're scared, or you're afraid, or you got angst, because you're worrying, because your thoughts are going crazy, because your brain is trying to protect you, to keep you comfortable. If you can just get this one message and hear that your brain is going to do that to you every single time you come up with something that seems like it's going to be really powerful for you, but also scary for you. If you know that your brain's going to do that, that's when you say, yep, Mario said it's going to happen. But in order for me to grow, the only way I can grow is to be uncomfortable, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And so if I know that my brain is going to freak out and try to stop me from asking that person for that favor, for asking for that thing to happen, for trying to launch that new product, if I know my brain is going to intrinsically try to get me to avoid discomfort and keep me comfortable, then I know that my default system is already set up to keep me safe. And keeping me safe does not enable me to go anywhere. What basketball team ever won playing it safe?
Mm.
What individual ever won playing it safe?
Mm-hmm.
What singer ever sang their best song playing it safe? Like, it doesn't happen, people. But we get convinced that we're supposed to play defense, and then we never play offense, or we only wait till we get the ball. You got to create the passing lane to get the ball into your hands. So what I'm saying is, if you could just take away that you are intrinsically motivated to avoid discomfort, that your brain will automatically try to shut you down. Nobody else is around you yet. Your own brain trying to tell you to shut it down, and now you got other people trying to tell you what you can't do. So you understand how heavy this can be, and this is why it can feel so hard and so heavy that you can never get anywhere, because your own brain is telling you no, don't do it, and then you got all your family and friends telling you no, don't do it. So if you can understand that in the beginning, right off the gate, that's automatically there, now you can hack it. You can say, yep, that's normal, that's supposed to happen. But if I'm going to actually launch this product, make this service, make that call, have this thing happen, then I have to understand that if I go through this, I will grow into a new comfort zone. And if I go through it, I will get new possibilities. So the ultimate answer to this whole thing is, instead of saying, what if it goes wrong? Ask yourself this: what if it actually goes right?
Whew. You guys heard it.
What if, yo? You can play the what if. You can play the what if on defense. What if they keep scoring on us? How are we going to stop them? What if they keep getting the ball to that guy? Like, you could do that all day, instead of saying, well, wait, what if we get some stops? What if we get some steals? What if we play better defense? What if one of us starts getting on the heater? Like, we always jump to the negative of the what if, but that's our brain protecting us. So go to the positive of the what if, and you can hack your brain.
Wow. I love it. The hint of inspiration on the Cashing in Dreams podcast. You guys heard it. This is Mario Armstrong, official author NJ. She said something while you were just speaking. She said the caterpillar won't become the butterfly if it refuses to make the cocoon. I love it. I love it. Listen, guys.
And the choice is yours. Like, how do you want to wake up? We all got the same 24 hours. We all got issues in our lives. We all got challenges going on. Look, I'm not throwing out toxic positivity. I ain't trying to tell y'all just be positive all the time and everything's going to be jolly and it's all going to work out. Like, life is rough. Life is challenging. Life is tough. Things are hard. Things, especially with what we got going on in this country, and especially with this, the color of our skin and what we got going on. Like, we got work to do, and we got battles to fight, and we got wars that we're waging. So, like, miss me with all of that nonsense. We already know. But we are the most resilient people. No offense to anybody else on here that's not melanin, but we are the most resilient people on the planet, yo. You can't deny that. 401 years of this nonsense, and we still here. Like, we're going to be here well beyond, fam. And it ain't always going to be this way because we here now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already think differently than our previous generations. They did the best that they could to get us here. But now it's on us to, like, we ain't talking about, like, how we going to make some little improvements. We going to climb the step ladder. I'm talking about, yo, we bouncing on trampolines on y'all right now. Like, there ain't no step ladders. We bounce on trampolines. So, yo, me and you, we're going to keep this thing, we're going to keep the dialogue going. We're going to continue to support each other, and we are going to continue to look out to circulate the dollar in the community, right? We're going to continue to uplift each other. We're going to continue to reduce the crabs in the barrel mentality so that we can understand that the pie is bigger than what we think it is. And will y'all please start thinking global? Will y'all stop worrying about what your competitor is doing in the U.S.? That's too small. Will y'all start thinking about who in India wants to buy your book, or who in Mexico needs your word, or who in the Caribbean needs your shirts or your merch? Can y'all start to think globally on the market opportunities out there so we can get out of this crabs in the barrel mentality? I'm sorry, man. You got me fired up. I know I'm supposed to rap, but you did something. You triggered something in me, bro. It just
you good. You good. Look, we don't gotta write. If you keep preaching, bro, because you dropping gems, man. Look, someone said, hold on. You said a hint of inspiration. That was drenched in inspiration.
That sounds like a writer. That's probably Arthur Angie on that one. She's a writer.
Hold on. Yeah, you just cannot, what is this? Contain the bright shine of this wisdom. Like, Whew. My wife says, make sure you get his size. We definitely got to bless Mario with a shirt. This interview was amazing. You got, listen, facts, the world, global, guys, global, preach, hand claps. There is an abundance of resources. Come on, Mario. Thanks. I appreciate y'all. Facts. Man, this, when I told you guys during my promotion of this, that this was going to be epic, that this was going to be big, I really felt it. When I was doing my research, I felt it. When he said yes to me, when I asked the question, I felt it. I felt it, guys. You have to listen and you have to obey. You have to listen and you have to obey. Standing down, I'm telling you. Listen, I started this. I didn't think I was, gonna be interviewing people. I've interviewed over 24, 25 people now on the Cash and Dreams podcast, where I was just approached by someone on the back end like, hey, listen, keep doing what you're doing, get the numbers up, and just know my eyes are on you. Just know my eyes are on you. I had no clue. I had no clue that at the beginning of this pandemic that the create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation would then turn into clothing, to where now we sold over 160 shirts within 5 months with no website. With no website. with absolutely no. We just launched the website, which is the Cash and Dreams. At the top of this month. At the top of this month, but 160 shirts, no website. We have sweaters now. We have masks. You understand? And this is not no promo. I'm just telling you. Once you put
no. Right.
Once you put reversible mask at that, you know what I mean? Once you put your mind to something, you have to listen and obey. I'm wearing my church's wristband. He says one dime at a time, right? One thought at a time. That's how I look at it. Put it down on paper and then massive action. But you have to continue to you have to continue to, if you want the blessings, you have to listen to the blessings that are given to you so you can be blessed. That's it. You guys are being, they're gems that he has dropped all night long. And if you have, I got the footage, so I'm going to go back and this is school.
Yeah, man. Cut this footage up, put this stuff out. We'll promote it too, man. You know, it's you know, you're right though. Like, people, y'all got to answer the purpose that's calling for you. Too many of y'all ain't trying to pick up the phone. Y'all running from the answer. You don't want to answer the purpose that's calling for you. It's right there. Phone ringing.
Amazing.
Don't ignore your instinct. Don't ignore your gut, because that's where a lot of times people overlook what's obvious to them. They overlook what comes easy to them because they don't think that that's hard work. And since it comes easy to them, they think that that's not something that they should be going down. And in fact, what you just missed is that's God's gift to you. If you got something that comes to you easy, you're supposed to lean into that.
That's it. My affirmation tonight, and what are those cards called behind you? What are they called? Affirmation cards by the sneaker?
By the sneaker. These are called tangible affirmations. Tangible
affirmation. So what one of mine is, even though it was a joke, I'm gonna go out and purchase me a hat that I have my eye on this hat, right? And that affirmation is going to be a tangible affirmation on there is going to be, I cannot wear that hat until Mario duplicates that affirmation keychain. That's that's what mine is going to be, and I'm going to put it up on my bookshelf. And until we get that done, it might take a day, it might take 5 years. But until we make that happen, I will not wear that hat. Mario, listen, it was a pleasure.
Buy that hat, DM me that picture. I need to see that as motivation so I can print that picture out, put it up here. And then that means I'm going to have to figure out something that I'm going to have tonight that also tied to that as well. So now this will be the first time that I've ever done an experiment where I have a tangible affirmation that is tied to somebody else with the same tangible affirmation.
Woo! I love it.
So you on something new here. So hold on, you on something new here.
I love it. Listen, it was a pleasure having this conversation. This is not the end of it. We will, like you said, we're going to stick together and grow together and sharpen each other. Listen, man, stay doing what you're doing.
On the Hudson, my boy Mike just said he'll buy 5. Christmas is coming. And now the pressure begins.
There we go. We got 6 because my wife said she'll buy 1. I want 1. That's 7. We got the proof of concept. Right? So let's. I'm gonna
hurry up and buy the hat, man. Hurry up and buy the hat. That's gonna be some magic. That energy is important. Buy that hat.
I'm ordering that hat tonight. I was gonna go to the store and get it, but I'm ordering it tonight when I get off here.
Order it.
And we're gonna go from there. It was a pleasure. Continue to be the vessel that you are.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
I pray that God opens up the floodgates of heaven, or the grounds of heaven, to pour whatever you need over you, and that you do not miss a hint of whatever blessings that he has for you. You've motivated me. You've inspired me, even down to the pictures that you saw. That picture of me putting it behind you. When I go live, I went on your live one day, and you had this quote or something on the side of you, and you were up in that little box like I was, and I was.
Oh yeah, a little picture in the picture. Yeah, like
I gotta do that. And I studied what you had. I took a snapshot of what you had, and I went and I mimicked what you had, and I do to this day. So I commend you. Let God do whatever He's doing for you, man, and your family. Continue to bless that young man that you get 15 with. Let him know it's not over and it's just starting for him. Matter of fact, let him know that he's way ahead of himself in the situation.
He is.
And he's way himself. So I applaud you.
I received that. Yep, it's true.
And listen, till next time, guys, on the Cashing in Dreams podcast, you guys go follow Mario. I'm pretty sure all 13 already are following you by now.
But if not, man, I want to see some new follows in that family, man. Let's extend that family. Like I just hit you up, so let's make that happen.
Do it. And congratulations on the Emmy and everything that you guys have coming your way. It was a pleasure. Till next time.
Hey man, till next time, man. Your energy is true. You are what you see is what you get, and I love that, because real can recognize real right off the bat. And you have been a blessing. The energy, like you said, has been pure from the get-go. From the minute you asked, the energy was going to be good. You claimed it. It showed up. It happened. We're just vessels. We ain't in control of this. It's coming to us, like you said, and we are allowing ourselves to be open enough to be able to share whatever blessings that we've been given, to kind of use that as a way to help others. So thank you for creating a platform that creates that energy in and of itself, because your energy matters, son. Like your energy matters. And so the energy that you bring, if you have somebody that's on your podcast and they aren't on the same frequency, I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe they shouldn't have been on the podcast, like, because your energy is straight. I'm not trying to diss anybody, but I'm just saying, like, it's one thing that I'm used to being in a situation where not everybody has the energy that you have. And so what I'm saying is I appreciate it, because some people don't have it, or they haven't worked on themselves to get there. And I'm the one that has to bring the energy into the whole thing. But this was a two-way street. Even though this was an interview session, this was a two-way street. Your energy and my energy are right here. Wow. Ain't Mario's been right there. So thank you for enabling that environment for us to even lock in. And then the energy of the people, it was incredible. So anytime we want to do this again, man, and we're going to flip this around, I'll bring you on to IG Live and interview you, and we'll have some more fun. And I just see this as the beginning of something. But right now, the only thing I know I'm supposed to be focused on is getting these daggone keychain affirmations made and you buying a hat.
That's it. I'm on it. Listen, it was a pleasure. Remember, guys, I'm going to leave you on this note. Create your own foundation or forever live on the plantation. And we're done.
Peace.
We're out.